A drama guide giving important factual and background material relating to each of the 28 great plays on this series is available as a listener's aid at the cost price of 25 cents. Coin or money order to be sent in care of Great Plays, Columbia University Press, New York City.
Today's great play is Peer Gynt by Henrik Ibsen, perhaps the greatest drama of the last century. It is a story of the conflict of the human soul with the dark forces within itself and the outside world. The great Norwegian poet Ibsen has symbolized these forces by the terrible shapes of beings from the underworld which keep man from himself, his loved ones, and follow him throughout his days. It was from this theme that a fellow Norwegian, Edward Grieg, found inspiration for the music of his Peer Gynt suite. The play opens on a wooded hillside in the mountains of Norway. An old mill shed stands close by Peer Gynt's home, towards which Peer, the strongly built youth, is approaching. He is followed by his mother, Uza, who is scolding him angrily.
I was riding through the air on the back of a reindeer.
Peer, you're lying.
No, I'm not.
Oh, you devil storyteller. Cross of Christ, how you can lie. Riding breakneck through the air on the back of a reindeer. All this tale you foist upon me, I remember now. I knew it when I was a girl of 20.
History repeats itself.
Peer, you're lost and ever will be.
Darling, pretty little mother, now don't be cross. Be happy.
Silence. Could I, if I would be happy, with a pig like you for son? Think you how bitter I must find it. I, a poor, defenseless widow, ever to be put to shame. How much have we now remaining from your grandsire's days of glory? Where are now the sacks of coin left behind by Rasmus Gynt? Your father lent them wings, lavished them abroad like sand, buying land in every parish. Where is all the wealth he wasted?
Where are the snows of yesteryear?
Silence before your mother. See the farmhouse. Every second window pane is stopped with dish clouts. Hedges, fences, all are down. Beasts exposed to wind and weather. Fields and meadows lying fallow.
Come now, stop this old wife talk. Our luck may turn.
Oh, God help me, Smalls, the prophet you have been to me, you scamp. Shaming me in all directions, fighting with the worst rapscallions.
Oh, let me be.
You'll bring me with your doings to the grave.
Oh, you're worth a better fate, Mother. Little, ugly, dear old Mother. You may safely trust my word. All the parish shall exalt you. Only wait until I have done something. Something really grand.
You...
Who knows what may befall one?
Would that enough sense might befall you to down your own breeches.
I will be a king. An emperor.
Your tongue. You're as mad can be. And yet, it's true enough. Something might have come to you had you not been steeped forever in your lies and trash and moonshine. Had this girl was fond of you, you could have won her had you wooed her with a will.
Could I?
The old man's too feeble not to give his child her way. Ah, Peer, a golden girl with a farm, everything. Just think, had you set your mind upon it, you'd be a bridegroom now, instead of standing here so grimed and tattered.
Oh, come, we'll go a-wooing then.
Where?
At Hegstad.
Hegstad's way is far to wooers.
How's that?
While in the Western Hills, you and Eyre were riding reindeer. Here, Moen's won the girl.
Oh, that's good for nothing.
Aye, she's taking him for husband.
Wait here until I've harnessed horse and wagon.
There are your pains. They are to be wed tomorrow.
Sure, I'll be there tonight. Come, Mother, jump. I'll carry you there in my arms.
Put me down.
Be my spokesman. Tell them Matt Moran's good for nothing.
Put me down.
And tell them what a rare lad is Per Gynt.
Find the character I'll give you. I'll tell them straight and plain.
Will you?
I won't stay my tongue till the old man sets his dog at you as though you were a tramp.
And I must go alone.
I'll come after you.
Mother dear, you haven't strength.
Strength? When I'm in such a rage, I could crush the rocks to powder.
You go.
Put me down.
You'll promise then?
Nothing. I'll go to Hexted with you. They shall know you what you are.
And you'll even have to stay here where I put you. On our roof.
Get me down.
Dearest mother, pray.
Get me down this moment, Per.
If I dared, be sure I would. Now remember, sit quite still. Don't sprawl and kick about.
Down.
Don't tug and tear the shingles, else it'll be the worse for you. Why, you might fall off.
Beast.
Don't kick.
Bah.
Give your blessing on my undertaking, mother, will you, eh?
I'll thrash you strongly.
Well, goodbye then, mother dear. Patience. I'll be back soon. Careful now. Don't kick and sprawl.
There. Oh, God help me. Now he's off. Reindeer rider.
Don't kick.
Liar. Will you listen? No. He's sliding over the meadow. Help! Oh, I'm dizzy. Help!
And now Per Gynt enters the farmhouse at Eggstad, where the wedding revels are at their height. Here he meets Solveig for the first time. In his tattered clothes, he is jeered at by both men and girls.
Oh, let them chatter. After all, they can't sneer the life out of my body.
Just look at Per Gynt there, the drunken swine.
I'll suck this thing. What the devil? What do you want here?
We hadn't got over the Lunday spree yet.
You'd better be off.
I'm going, yes, but tell me, where have you dropped from, man? You've been gone 6 weeks.
I've been doing strange deeds, Locksmith.
Oh, let us hear 'em, Per.
And not to you.
You coming to the wedding?
Yes.
Time was, they said, that the girl was fond of you.
You grimy crow.
Oh, keep your temper, Per. The Windgrid has jilted you. Others are left. Come on to the feast.
To hell.
You'll surely find one that'll have you. Good evening, Per. I'll give your respects to the bride.
For my part, may Ingrid of Hegstad go marry whomever she pleases. It's all one to me. My breeches are torn. I'm ragged and grimy. If only I had something new to put on. What was that? Who was it that tittered behind me there? I certainly thought that. Oh, there's no one. I'll go home to Mother. Playing a dance. How the lasses do swarm. 6 or 8 to a man. Oh, galloping death, I must join in the frolic.
Who invited him?
No one.
Hey, listen, girls. If he should speak to you, never take no...
Oh, no, we'll pretend we don't even see him.
Which is the liveliest girl of the lot of you?
I am not.
You come along, then, for want of a better.
Haven't got time.
Well, then you.
I'm going home.
So early? Are you utterly out of your senses?
Look, here are some new folk coming.
The ones from the west?
Aye, the people from Haydow.
Aye, so they are.
That fine old man and his daughter?
Yeah, they're from the west and new here.
How fair she is. Did ever you see the like? Look down at her shoes and her snow-white apron. And when she held on to her mother's skirt folds, she carried a psalm book wrapped up in a kerchief. I must speak to that girl. Will you dance with me?
Yes.
Come then. Give me your hand.
We mustn't so far, Mother said.
Mother said. Were you born yesterday?
And now you're laughing.
Well, sure, you're almost a child. Are you grown up?
Yes.
Tell me your name, and then we'll talk easier.
My name is Solveig. And what are you called?
Peer Gynt.
Oh, heaven.
Well, what is it now?
Oh, my daughter is loose. I was tied up.
Here. Have some brandy?
Got any?
Well, I have a flask. Oh, how it stings your throat. Well, you want any?
Let me try it.
Now you must try mine as well, you know.
Oh, nonsense. Now don't be a fool, Pear. Take a pull.
Well, then, give me a drop. Solveig. Oh, it's well that you've come. Now will I swing you around fast and fine.
Lose hold of me.
Why?
You're so wild.
The reindeer is wild, too, when summer is dawning. Come then, lass. Don't be wayward now.
No.
Why?
You've been drinking.
You're ashamed to, because I've the look of a tramp.
Oh, no. That's not true at all.
Yes, and I've taken a drop as well. But that was to spite you, because you'd hurt me. Come then.
Even if I would now, I can't.
Who are you frightened of?
Father most.
Father? Oh, he's one of the quiet ones, eh?
Let me go and see.
No. I could turn myself into a troll.
Oh.
If you should hear someone hissing and spitting, you mustn't imagine it's only the cat. It's me, lass.
Oh.
You must know I'm a werewolf at night. Dance with me, Solveig.
No, I dare not. Mother!
What is it, Pear? No luck with her?
You don't look very lucky yourself for a bridegroom.
Oh, Pear, help me. You who have such a way with girls.
What is it?
My bride has locked herself in the storehouse.
No.
She won't unlock the door.
Won't she?
I'll give you an ox if you help me.
All right. Then come.
Is that son of mine here? Now he's in for a drubbing. How heartily I will dang him.
Oh, that switch is too light for a carcass like his. Here, let me help you.
Where is he? Here.
Oh! God, dead on the cross. Come, Father. Come, Mother.
What's the matter?
Oh, it's his fancy. Peregrine.
Here. Have they taken his life?
No, but Peregrine, look. There, on the hillside.
With the bride.
The beast.
Why, he's clambering upwards, by God, like a goat, carrying the bride.
He shouldered her as I by the pig.
My son. Would God you might fall and break. There, take care of your footing.
In the excitement of the wedding party, Pear has forgotten Solveig. In a spirit of deviltry, he has abducted the bride, Ingrid, and carried her off into the mountains. The following morning, we discover Ingrid and Pear on a narrow path up in the mountains. In the excitement of the wedding party, Pear has forgotten Solveig. In a spirit of deviltry, he has abducted the bride, Ingrid, and carried her off into the mountains. The following morning, we discover Ingrid and Pear on a narrow path up in the mountains.
Get out of my sight.
After this, there, where can I go?
What do I care?
Oh, you false one.
Stop wailing. Each must go his own way. Devil take the tribe of women. All but one.
Who is that one?
Not you.
Who is it then?
Go whence you came. Off to your father.
Dearest, weep.
Please,
You cannot mean it, surely, what you are saying.
I can and do.
First ruined, and then forsaken.
You were willing.
I was desperate.
So was I.
Dearly, shall you pray for this? Is your purpose set?
Like flint.
We'll see then who is the winner.
Devils take the tribe of women.
All but one.
Yes, all but one. Gone. Well, let her go. The parish will be at my heels in a pack. Every man of them armed with gun or with club. Ah, this is right. To be hunted. Every limb grows as strong as a bear. To crush, overturn, to wrench the fir tree right up by the root. This is life. What is it? That far-off chiming. I hear it again and again. Oh, how my forehead throbbing. Tightening red-hot ring. I can't think who the devil has bounded around my head. There's a spot to rest. Up for the steepest hill with the bride and a whole day drunk. Yonder sail two brown eagles. Southward the wild geese fly. I'll fly too. I'll plunge myself in the fjord, that glorious christening font. Argent, thou art come of great things, and great things shall come of thee. I'm tired.
Is it true, all that you have dreamed?
True as my name is fair. True as that you are a lovely woman. Who are you?
I am the green flag.
Will you have me? You'll see what a fine man I'll be. You shall eat all you want till you're ready to burst. I will never drag you about by the hair.
No beat me.
No. Can you think that I would? We king's sons never beat women.
You're a king.
Yes, and you?
I am the mountain king's daughter.
Are you? Well, what a coincidence.
Deep in the mountain, my father has his house.
My mother's is bigger, or I'm much
Do
mistaken.
you know my father? His name is King Growth.
You know my mother? Her name is Queen Oza.
Have you other garments besides those rags?
Ha! You should just see my Sunday clothes.
Oh, I say, now I see that we fit, you and I.
Like the leg of the breeches, the hair and the comb.
Bridal seed! Bridal seed! Come, bridal seed, mine!
There's a wild boar. Who are you that has come so gently?
I have told you. Mount, let's away to the hall of my father the king.
Hark away! Gee up! Gee up! My cart of iron!
Ah, but lately I wandered and most in time. One can never tell what may happen to one.
One never can! Gee up!
Away!
Gee up!
There appears in the hall of the Mountain King, crowded with gnomes and trolls.
A Christian man's son that deluded the Troll King's loveliest daughter. May I hack him on the finger? May I get him by the hair? Let me bite him. Will he be boiled in the broth and fried? Shall you roast and spit to be brown in a stew pan? By the skylands, the talking trick.
It's a
My daughter, then, you demand of me?
Your daughter and the realm to her dowry, yes.
Aye, but stop, my lad. You also have some undertaking to give. If you break even one, the whole tax is an end, and you'll never get away from here living. First of all, you must swear that you'll never give these to aught that lies in the outside world. Day you must shun, and each sunlight spot.
Only call me king, and that's easy to keep.
And next, now for putting your wits to the test. So what difference is there twixt trolls and men?
No difference at all, as it seems to me. Big trolls would roast you, and small trolls would claw you. Men do the same thing.
True enough. And yet, there is a difference all the same. Now, let me tell you wherein it lies. Out yonder, under the shining boss amongst men, the saying goes, man, be thyself. At home here with us, with the tribe of the trolls, the saying goes, troll, to thyself be enough. Can you fathom the depth?
Strikes me as misty.
And next, you must throw off your Christian and God. Here all things are mountain-made, except the silk bow at the end of your tail.
I haven't a tail.
Then, of course, you must get one.
I'll be hanged if I do. Would you make me a thief?
Nay, my son, you mistake. I make you a mannerly wooer, no more.
Well, perhaps it's wisest to follow the fashion a bit. Tie away.
You're a tractable fellow, I see. We troll folks, I son, are less slack than we're safe. And now there's one more thing to do. This same human nature is a singular thing. It sticks to people so strangely long.
What will you do?
In your eyes first, I'll scratch you a bit till you see your eyes. But all that you see will seem fine and brave.
Are you drunk?
You must remember, your eyes are the fountains of the bitter and searing lie of tears.
But tell me, when will my sight heal up into human sight?
Nevermore, my friend.
Indeed? In that case, I'll take my leave.
What would you outside?
I would go my way.
Stop. It's easy to slip in here, but the king's gate never opens outward.
You wouldn't detain me by force, I hope.
Come now, just listen to reason, please, fair. And you'd say be a troll?
Yes, I would for a while, sure enough. Then I can put up with losing a good many things. But there is a limit to all things on earth. To live as a hill troll for all one's days, that is a thing I can never agree to.
You're face-to-face loon? Do you know who I am? First with my daughter, you make you free.
You lie on your...
You must marry her.
Open the doors. Let me go.
I'll kill to pieces on the rock walls, children.
Dad, can't we say owl and eagle face?
You say brave house and go I can't. Yes, but please, I am worried and sleepy. Good night.
Let me be, devil him. Let go, you beast! Oh, would I was small as a mouse!
Help me! We have him!
What that I were a mouse!
He's fallen! No, into his eyes!
Mother, help me or I die!
The mountain, church bell, the black rock tower. Away! Away!
Alice has disappeared. I must get through these bushes. I'll get free. But who laughed? Answer. Who are you?
Myself.
Clear the way.
Go round about there. The hill's roomy enough.
Who are you?
Myself. Can you say the same?
I can say what I will, and my sword can smite. Mind yourself. King Saul slew hundreds. Herr Gint slew thousands. Who are you?
Myself.
That stupid reply you may spare. It doesn't clear up the matter. What are you?
The great boy. Go round about there.
No. Through. He fell. Ha! Are there more here?
The boy, Herr Gint. The one, only one. It's the boy that unwounded and the boy that was hurt. The boy that is dead and the boy that's alive.
Not dead. Not living. All slimy. Messy. Not so much as a shape. It's as bad as to battle in a cluster of hissing, half-wakened snakes. Oh, strike back at me, can't you?
The boy is not mad.
Strike!
The boy strikes not.
Strike! You shall!
The great boy conquers but does not fight.
Only something to fight with. But here there is nothing. Boy.
What is your will?
Use strength.
The great boy conquers without it.
What are those sounds? Like evil birds or witches all about me.
Comes he now, boy?
Aye, step by step.
All our sisters far off gather here to the tryst. He totters, boy!
We have him.
Sisters, make haste.
Too dear the purchase one pays for life in such a heart-wasting hour.
Oh, he's there. He's fallen. Seize him, seize him.
Gone. The palace has disappeared. Oh, how weary I am. Have I slept? What wouldn't I give for a pickled herring? I must have been dreaming. There goes a child carrying a basket. Ah, child, are you there? What is it you want?
Solvig.
Solvig? It cannot be. Why, but it is. And you're not afraid to come near to me? You know where I was last night? Like a horsefly, the Troll King's daughter is after me.
Then it was well the church bells were set ringing.
Against not the lad the black ones can lure astray. What do you say? And your father?
In all of God's wide earth, I have none I can call either father or mother. I have loosed me from all of them.
Solveig, you fair one, and to come to me?
To you alone. You must be all to me, friend and consoler.
Solveig, let me look at you. Not too near. Only look at you. Oh, but you are bright and pure. Let me lift you. Oh, but you are fine and light. I will not soil you. With outstretched arms, I will hold you far out from me, lovely and warm one. Oh, who would have thought I could draw you to me? Ah, but I have longed for you, day long and night long.
Down below it was airless pain. One felt as though choked. That was partly what drove me in fear from the day. But here, with bird branches sighing o'erhead, all is stillness and song. I am here in my home.
And you know that, surely, for all your days?
The path I have trodden leads back nevermore.
You are mine, then. Go into the hut. I must go to fetch fir rich for fuel. Warm shall the fire be, and bright shall it shine. You shall sit softly and never be a cold.
Good morning, Père Lightfoot.
What is it? Who's there?
Old friends of yours, Père Gint.
You're mistaken, good woman. I never saw you nor that child before.
I was your friend once. I was when you promised such mighty fine things.
I promised? What devil's own nonsense is this?
You've forgotten the night when you drank with my sire. You've forgotten.
What's this that you prate of? When last did we meet?
When last we met was when first we met. Give your father a drink, child. He's thirsty, I'm sure.
Father? Why, you're drunk, woman. Do you call that misshapen
I
brat?
should think that you might well know the pig by its skin. But where are your eyes? Can't you see that he's all lame in his shank, just as you, too, are lame in your soul?
This long-legged urchin?
You forget he's a troll. He shut up a space.
Dare you ugly troll snout, father on me?
Oh, come now, Père. Ain't you as rude as an ox?
You troll witch with the snout of a pig.
Oh, Père, but if you would see me as fair as before, you have only to turn yonder girl out of doors. Drive her clean out of your sight and your mind. Oh, do but this, dear my love, and I'll soon lose my snout.
Be gone from it, troll witch.
I see if I do.
I'll split your skull open.
Just try if you dare. Oh, Père, again, I've no fear of blows. Be sure I'll return every day of the year when you're sitting with your girl on the fireside bench. When you're tender, dear, and you pet and caress her. I'll seat myself by you and ask for my share. She there and I will take you by turns. Farewell, dear my lad. You can marry tomorrow.
You nightmare of hell. Would you were as far?
And now we are near.
And all this?
For nothing but thoughts and desires. It is hard on you, Père.
It's worse for another. Solveig, my fairest.
Oh, I, 'tis the guiltless must not have the devil. Remember, Père, we'll be with you to share your happiness.
The boy said go roundabout. So one must hear. There fell my fine palace with crash and clatter. There's a wall around her whom I stood so near. Of a sudden all's ugly. My joy has grown old. Go to Solveig after this, so befouled and disgraced. Go to her with that troll rabble after me still. It's a holy day evening. For me to keep tryst, such as now I am, would be sacrilege.
Are you coming, Père?
Round about.
What?
You must wait, Solveig. It is dark, and I've got something heavy to fetch.
Wait. I'll help you. We'll share the burden.
No. Stay where you are. I must bear it alone.
But don't go too far, dear.
Be patient, my girl. Be my way long or short. You must wait.
Yes, I'll wait.
Round about. Round about.
Before setting out into the world, Père goes to bid his mother farewell. Rosa, anxiously awaiting the coming of her boy, lies ill in bed, her fingers nervously playing with the coverlet.
Lord, my God. Isn't he coming? The time drags so heavily on. I have no one to send with a message. And I've so much to say. If I only was certain I'd not been too strict with him.
Good evening, Mother.
Oh, the Lord give you gladness. You come in, my boy. I can depart in peace.
Depart? Where is it you think to go?
Alas, Père, the end is nearing. I have but a short time left.
See there now. I'm fleeing from trouble. I thought at least that here I'd be free. Are your hands and your feet cold, then?
Aye, Père. All will soon be over. When you see that my eyes are glazing, you must close them carefully. And then you must see to my coffin.
Oh, there's time yet to think of that.
Yeah, you see the little they've left us. It's like them just...
Well, I know it was my fault. What's the use of reminding me?
No, that accursed liquor. From that all the mischief came. You know you had been drinking. And no one knows what he does.
Enough of the whole affair. Now, Mother, we'll chat together, but only of this and that. Forget what's awry and crooked, and all that is sharp and sore. Oh, I see now. The same old pussy. So she's alive then still.
She makes such a noise o' nights now. And you know what that bodes, my boy?
No. Now, we'll chat together. Are you thirsty? I'll fetch you water.
No.
Can you stretch you? The bed is short. Let me see. If I don't believe now it's the bed then I had when a boy. Do you mind, dear, how often in the evenings you sat at my bedside here and spread the fur coverlet o'er me and sang many a lilt and lay?
Mind you. Then we played sledges when your father was far abroad. The coverlet served for sledge apron and the floor for a nice beyond floor.
But the best of all, though, Mother, you mind that too. The best was the Fleetfoot horses.
Think you that I forgot?
To the castle west of the moon, and the castle east of the sun, the Soria Moria castle, the road ran both high and low. A stick that we found in the closet, for a whip shaft you made it serve.
Right proudly, I perked on the box seat.
You threw loose the reins and kept turning round as we traveled, and asked me if I was cold. God bless you, ugly old mother. You were ever a kindly soul.
Oh.
What's hurting you now?
My back aches because of hard, bare board.
I'll support you. There now, you're lying soft. Spread o'er you the bed fur. Let me sit at your bedside here. There. Now we'll shorten the evening with many a lilt and lay.
They're spraying from the closet the prayer book. I feel so uneasy in soul.
In Soria Moria Castle, the king and the prince give a feast. On the sledge cushions lie and rest you. I'll drive you there over the heath.
But, Père, am I invited?
Aye, that we are, both of us. Gee up! Will you stir yourself, black boy? Mother, you're not a cold.
Père, what is it? This ring?
The glittering sledge bells, dear.
Oh, how hollow it's rumbling.
We're just driving over a fjord.
I'm afraid. What is that I hear? Rushing and sighing so strange and wild.
Sound of the pine trees, Mother in the house. Could you but sit still?
Oh, there's a sparkling and gleaming afar. Whence comes all that blaze of light?
From the castle's windows and doorways. Don't you hear? They're dancing.
This
journey. It makes me weak and tired.
There's the castle rising before us. The drive will be over soon.
I lie back and close my eyes again and trust me to you, my boy.
In the castle, they bustle and swarm to the gateway. Fair Gint and his mother are here. What say you, Master St. Peter? Shall mother not enter in? You may search a long time, I tell you, ere you find such an honor so. Myself, I don't want to speak of. I can turn at the castle gate. But her you shall honor and reverence, and make her at home always. Why, what makes your eyes so glassy? Mother, have you gone out of your wits? You mustn't lie there and stare so. Speak, Mother. It's I, your boy. Now the journey's done. Mother, for all of your days, I thank you. For beating and lullaby. But see, you must thank the driver. A last kiss. There. That was my driver's fare.
And so Peer Gynt fared forth into the world, poor, young, empty-handed. But the fates were kind. He prospered. By the time he was 50, he bore the name of Croesus amongst the Charleston spitters. His fortune was derived from selling idol images to China in the spring, and in the autumn outfitting Chinese missionaries with stockings, Bibles, rum, and rice. His wealth brought easy friends, and his wanderings curious adventures in strange places. Dallying in Egypt, among the Arabs in a desert oasis, he succumbed to the lures of the dark-eyed Anita.
The prophet is come! Make the flute and the drum! The prophet is come!
Dance, Anita, dance!
After a lifetime of wandering, old Peer Gynt returns to Norway, the hills of home and his youth. We find him wandering near a hut in the forest, where all these years Solveig has waited for his return. A strange old man meets him.
Well, old duffer.
Good evening, friend.
You seem to be in a hurry. Why? Where are you going?
To a grave feast.
Excuse me. Your name doesn't chance to be Peer?
Peer Gynt.
Well, that I call luck. It's precisely Peer Gynt I am sent for tonight.
You're sent for? What do you want?
Why, see here. I'm a button molder. You're to go into my ladle.
And what to do there?
To be melted up.
To be melted?
Your grave is dug, ready. Your coffin bespoke. But I have ordered without delay, on Master's behalf, to fetch in your soul.
It can't be like this. Without any warning.
It's an old tradition that burials and births to appoint in secret the day of the feast, with no warning at all to the guest of honor.
Aye, that's true. All my brains are poor. You are...
Why, I told you, a button molder.
At least, give me time.
What good would that do you?
I'll use it to prove that I've been myself all the days of my life. And that's the question that's in dispute.
You prove it? And how?
Why, by vouchers and witnesses.
I'm sadly afraid Master will not accept them. You can cry. So be it. But remember, we meet at the next crossroads.
If I only knew where the crossroads are. The earth burns beneath me like red-hot iron. What's that shining yonder?
Only a light from a hut.
And that wailing sound.
But a woman singing.
That voice. The voice of Solveig. Yes. It's Solveig. There I'll find one who'll vouch for me. In all the world, she alone has faith in me. Solveig! Solveig!
He is here. He is here. Oh, to God be the praise.
Hast thou doom for a sinner? Then speak it forth. Cry out all my sins and my trespasses.
In naught hast thou sinned, oh, my own only boy.
The sinless Peer Gynt.
Cry aloud my crime.
Thou hast made all my life as a beautiful song. Blessed be thou that at last thou hast come. Blessed, thrice blessed hour which can mourn meeting.
I'm lost.
He is one that rules all things.
Lost. Unless thou can answer riddles. Canst thou tell me where Peer Gynt has been since we parted?
Has been?
With his destiny seal on his brow. Canst thou tell me? If not, I must go down to the mist-shrouded region.
Oh, that riddle is easy.
Then tell me what thou knowest. Where was I? As myself, as the whole man, the true man. Where was I? With God's seal upon my brow.
In my faith, in my hope, and in my love.
What sayest thou? Peace. These are juggling words. Thou art mother thyself to the boy in thy heart.
Aye, that I am. But who is his father? Surely he that forgives if the mother prays.
My mother, my wife, oh, thou innocent woman, in thy love, oh, there hide me, hide me, hide me.
And dream thou, dear my boy.
And so closes Peer Gynt by Henrik Ibsen, with music from the Peer Gynt Suite by Edvard Grieg and conducted by Joseph Hanti. The Great Plays series is a public service feature of the National Broadcasting Company. A drama guide giving complete background material for the Great Plays by Blevins Davis, who arranged for the series, is available to our radio audience at the cost of 25 cents. Send coin or money orders to Columbia University Press in care of Great Plays, Columbia University Press, New York City. Consult your local library for reading material on the remaining great plays of the series. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a change in the order of the plays is to be noted. Sunday, February 18th, The Playboy of the Western World by Synge. Sunday, February 25th, The Pirates of Penzance by Gilbert and Sullivan. Sunday, April the 7th, Célias and Mélisande by Maurice Metters. Now, except for the above alterations, the order of plays remains unchanged. The cast of today's play was as follows. Peer Gynt, William S. Rainey. Oza, Florence Malone. Solveig, Irene Wicker. Aslak the Smith, Richard Gordon. Bridegroom, Burford Hamden. The Mountain King, William Shelley. The Green-Clad One, Barbara Lee. Ingrid, Lily Valenti. The Troll, Junius Massey. The Button Molder, Richard Gordon. The Boig, Horace Braham. An old man, Harry Neville. A lad, Peter Dunn. The narrator was Alfred Sherman. And Peer Gynt was adapted for radio by Charles Warburton. This is the National Broadcasting Company, RCA Building, Radio City, New York.
The Columbia Workshop, radio's foremost laboratory of writing and production techniques, has the honor to present the second and final American radio appearance of the Old Vic Theatre Company of London, England, which is currently playing a limited season of repertory at the Century Theatre in New York. Today, the classic tale of Peer Gynt by the Norwegian dramatist Henrik Ibsen, with the memorable musical score of his compatriot, Edvard Grieg. Ralph Richardson appears as Peer Gynt, Laurence Olivier as the Troll King and Button Molder, Ina Burrell as Oza, and Harry Andrews as the narrator. The Ibsen text was prepared for radio by Charles S. Monroe. The score has been arranged and will be conducted by Herbert Mangus. The Old Vic players are directed by John Burrow, who has had for these two special Columbia Workshop broadcasts the association of Richard Sanville of CBS.
Let the professor sniffle and sneeze in the dust with which he cloaks the writings of Henrik Ibsen. Let the scholar search for hidden meanings that are not to be found in Peer Gynt. For you and for the Columbia Workshop, Peer is a folk tale, a fairy tale for grown-ups, written as such and here played as such by the Old Vic Theatre Company. The story of a man whose dreams were too big for him. They were even too big for his mother, Oza, when Peer returned that day to their hut on a wild hillside in Norway close by a rushing stream.
Pierre, you're lying.
What, me lying?
Well, then swear that it's true.
Swear? Why should I?
Ah, you're frightened. Lies, lies, lies.
Every blessed word is true.
I wonder you can face your mother. Just when you're needed most, away you go to the hills for weeks. After reindeer in the snow. Back you come, all torn and tattered. Lost your game bag, lost your gun. Tell me where you saw this calf.
Buck. Near Yendon.
I dare say.
He was scraping in the snow for some moss.
Yes, no doubt.
I stood and listened, heard the scraping of his hoof. Then, crawling forward through the rocks, I saw his antlers.
Very likely.
Bang, I fired. The buck came bump among the boulders. But the moment he'd fallen, I was up astride his shoulders, got my grip on his left ear. Just as I was going to thrust my knife into his gullet, hi! With a scream, the brute sprang up, caught my legs between his antlers, pinning me upon his back. And he bounded off like lightning right along the ridge of Yendin.
Lord have mercy.
Have you ever been upon the Yendin Ridge? Half a mile, as sheer and narrow as a scythe blade, looking downward, past the slopes, past the glaciers, past the grey ravine and gullies. Either side, you see the water wrapped in dark and gloomy slumber, half a mile at least beneath you. Right along it, he and I clove our passage through the air. Far ahead, the peaks were sparkling as we danced along. Beneath us, in the void, dusky eagles fell away like motes in sunshine.
Heaven help!
Suddenly, almost at the reindeer's feet, a ptarmigan rose up, cackling, flapping its wings with terror. Then the reindeer, madly swerving, gave a bound sky high that sent us plunging over the edge and downward. I'm the giant mountain wall below the fathomless abyss. First through clouds of mist we hurtled, then dispersed a flock of seagulls, screaming, circling all around us, downward, still and ever downward. But beneath us, something glistened, whitish, like a reindeer's belly. Mother, it was our own reflection, mirrored on the lakes beneath us. Up, up, up it came to meet us, just as swiftly and as madly as we downward rushed towards it.
Pierre, tell me quickly.
But from air, but from water, met with mighty splash together, scattering the foam around us. Well, then at last we somehow managed to struggle to the shore. Well, the reindeer swam and dragged me after till, well, here I am.
But where's the reindeer?
Oh, I expect he's where I left him. Findings, keepings, go and look.
Your neck's not broken? Spine not cracked? No scar? Your breeches? Yes, they're torn a bit. Oh, you devil, what lies, what lies. It all comes back to me. I heard it when I was a child. It's a tale of Gudbrand Glesner. It was to him that it all happened, not to you. You.
Yes, it did. History repeats itself.
Yes, you can dress your lies up so finely. Toss them out in their Sunday best. Dusky eagles. All that nonsense. Oh, I wish I were dead.
Ah, dearest pretty little mother, what's it matter? Cheer up, dear.
What? I've reared a pig and not a son.
Oh, mother.
Where is all the gold your rich grandfather Rasmus Gint left?
Where are the snows of yesteryear?
Hold your tongue when Mother's talking. Take a look at our fine house. Past the window, stuffed with rags. Fences, palings, hedges down. Cattle out, come wind, come rain. The fields and meadows never touch.
You know, it never rains, but it pours.
Our land that used to be so rich is sour. And you great big, healthy lout, should be the prop of my old age. You should be seeing to the farm. God knows how much help you've been to me, you rascal. When you're home, you poke the fire, that's all you do. Oh, you scare the girls you meet at dances. Brawl and fight with all the lads.
Oh, stop it, Mother.
In that drinking bout at Lunda, did you start the fight with Aslak?
What, the blacksmith?
Yes, can you deny it?
Now, who's been running to you with tales?
The cotter's wife. She heard the yells. Ruffian. You bring me to my grave.
Ah, come, you're worth a better fate, better 20,000 times, darling, simple little Mother Shelley. You can trust in Pierre. The countryside for miles around will do you honor. Just you wait till I do something really great. Who knows what the future holds?
You only had the sense to mend your breeches, I'd be thankful.
I'll be a king, an emperor.
Quiet, I tell you.
On the way.
Quiet. Oh. That girl in Huckstad wanted you. You might have won her, too, if you'd worked and stopped your lies.
What, Ingrid? Think so?
Oh, that Ingrid. She oozes gold. An heiress. Just think of it. If you'd only liked, you might have been a handsome bridegroom now, and not a filthy, smelly tramp.
Come with me. I'll start my courting.
Where?
At Hagsted.
My poor man, that road is closed to lovers.
Why?
While you were riding through the air, Mark Moen went and won the girl.
Mark Moen? Ingrid won't have him.
Moen's the man she's marrying.
Wait for me. I'll go and get the mare.
Don't trouble, you're late. The wedding's taking place tomorrow.
Then I'll get there by tonight.
Oh, you'll go and make things 10 times worse.
No, don't worry. It'll be all right. Ready, Mother? We'll leave the cart. Too much trouble to get the mare. Ooh.
Put me down.
No, I carry my mother to the wedding feast.
Oh, put me down. Put me down. Not through the stream. Oh, we're drowning. Here. Oh, Lord, help us. Put me down.
Stop struggling. The bottom's very slippery here.
Oh, don't let me go.
Gee up, gee up. Hey, hey. Shall we play at Pier and Reindeer? I'll be the reindeer, you be Pier.
Oh, I'm fainting. Where am I? Oh, dear.
Now, give the dear a nice big kiss and thank him for a lovely ride.
I'll box your ears. There's your face. And there.
Oh, Mother, that's a handsome sort of tip.
Let me go.
To the wedding first, you must do a bit of talking. Tell them all what a son you've got.
I'll tell them all you're a drunken sot.
In that case, I'll go alone.
In that case, I'll follow on. You shall see. I'm in the mood to grind the rocks to flour. Eat wood. Oh, put me down.
Well, will you agree?
No. I'll tell them all just what you are.
Then you shall stay just where I choose.
Never. I will follow on behind.
Oh, no, you won't.
Oh, yes, I will.
Then I'll put you up here on the roof.
Lift me down.
Will you listen then?
No.
Mother dear, take my advice.
Lift me down this instant, dear.
I won't. Don't move your legs. Sit tight. Don't tear the thatch because you might fall off and then...
You horrid beast.
No kicking, mind.
I'll wallop you.
Wallop away, but don't fall off. Goodbye. I'll soon be back. Goodbye. Look out, you fall. Goodbye.
Come back. Here. God, help me. Will you listen? No, he's off across the fields. I'm fainting. Help! Help!
Hagsted at last. I'll be there pretty soon. I wonder if Ingrid... I'll cut across here. I'll climb over the fence and go over the moor. I wonder if Ingrid's alone in her room. Oh, here they come, swarming like flies with their gifts for the bride. I'm beginning to think I'll go home. They'll only start laughing behind my back. Well, I really need a good stiff drink, and their sneers that pass over my head. Oh, they're coming. I don't want them to see me. I'll hide.
The kings had money once, but they lost it all. Drink finished his father, his mother's a shrew.
Then it's not surprising the son's what he is. Like father, like son, the saying goes.
That's me they were praising. Oh, well, I won't fret. Never knew gossip kill anyone yet. I think I'll lie here on my back in the heather.
Look at that.
It's Peer Gynt.
The swine's dead drunk again.
Your Majesty.
Get up if you're able, Peer Gynt.
Oh, it's a blacksmith, it's Aslak. And what do you want?
Don't you worry.
We're not staying here.
But where have you been, man? Where have you been hiding? You've been gone 6 weeks. We were caught by the troll.
I'm astounded myself at the things I've been doing.
Let's hear.
No point. It'd never sink in.
Are you coming to Hagsted?
No.
People say Ingrid used to be sweet on you.
You dirty-faced crow.
Keep that temper, my lad. If Ingrid's giving you up, there are others. Don't forget, you're the son of John Moneybags.
Go to blazes.
You'll find someone or other who'll have you. Good evening. I'll pay your respects to the bride.
All I care, Ingrid can marry whoever she pleases. Oh, well, let her. I don't care a damn. My breeches in tatters, my clothes torn to shreds. If only I had a decent new suit. I'd like to sharpen a butcher's knife and cut the mockery out of their hearts. Who's there? Who's that? I heard somebody tittering. I swear I heard something. Well, I must have been wrong. I must go home to Mother. Oh, look! Down at Hagsted, they're ready for dancing. The sun's going down. Oh, such girls, such girls. 7 or 8 to each man. Oh, I must join in. I can't miss the dancing. Oh, but Mother will still be up there on the roof. Listen, that alley. They're putting some life in it. Gotham's in form with that fiddle of his. His notes flash and sparkle like spray in a waterfall. Girls, girls, girls. Oh, but Mother up there. Oh, I must join in. I can't miss the dancing.
Well, of course England's crying a bit. Did you ever took any notice of that?
Come along, friends. Drink up. There's lots more in the vat. Thank you. I'm finding it hard to keep pace. That's the idea, Gotham. Scrape away till you bust.
Great ridiculous out there on the hillside. Look, here's Miles Bowen, the bridegroom. He fucked his father by the sea.
Why is he not with Ingrid, his bride? Father, I've tried, but she won't. She's standoffish.
What won't she?
She's gone and locked herself in.
Well, what about going and finding the key?
I don't know where to look.
Oh, you're a baby.
Oh, but Father! Oh, gosh! Here, Vince just arrived. Things are going to get lively.
Who asked him anyway?
That's what I'd like to know.
Take no notice, girls, if he tries to get friendly.
As far as I go, he doesn't exist. Here he is.
Well, who's the best dancer here? Which one is Twinkle Toes?
Not I. Not I. I'm certain I'm not.
Well, then you.
Oh.
Before somebody better turns up.
I'm afraid I'm just going.
Going? So early. You can't be all there.
Look here. She's gone off with that scabby old rag. At this country dance, Peer Gynt first sees Solveig, whose father, like other fathers, does not view this wild youth with favor.
Please, sir, may I dance with your daughter?
We must go and pay our respects to our host. Come, wife. Come, daughter. We'll go into the house.
Oh, how lovely she is. I know no one as lovely. Her eyes cast down on her apron so white. And the way she held on to her mother's dress and carried her prayer book wrapped in a kerchief. I must go after her.
I think it was you who asked me to dance.
Yes, it was. Come on.
Oh, Mother says don't go too far away.
Mother says. Were you born yesterday?
You're laughing at me.
Why? You're still quite a baby.
Oh, no. I was confirmed last spring.
Oh. Well, tell me your name, and we'll feel more at ease.
My name is Solveig. And what is yours, please?
Peer Gynt?
Oh, my goodness.
Well, what's wrong with this?
When my garters broke loose, I must go to the house.
Brandy, Peer? No, thanks. Come, just a tot. Well, a tot then, no more.
We ought to be going.
Are you afraid of me, girl?
You showed us a few things at Lunda.
Oh, I can do more than that once I start.
And he's starting, believe me. Come on, let it rip. Tell us what you can do.
No, tomorrow.
No. Are you good at black magic?
I've conjured the devil.
Oh, my grandmother did that before I was born.
Liar! No one else living can manage that trick. I conjured the devil inside a nut. The nut was worm-eaten.
Well, that's obvious.
Swore, he cried, he tried hard to bribe me with this and with that.
Was he forced to get in?
Yes, he was. Then I plugged up the hole with a pin. Lord, you should have heard the buzz and the rumble.
But where is he now? Is he still in the nut?
No, the devil was clever. He got clean away. That's why the blacksmith hates me to this day.
Really?
Then I went to the blacksmith and I asked him to hammer that nut for me. He said, of course. Well, he took hold of the nut to hammer it flat, but being as heavy-handed as Aslan.
Did he kill the devil?
He hit like a madman, but the devil went up in a fury of flame. Way! Straight through the roof and the wall.
And the smith?
Just gaped. His hands roasted like beef. And since that day, we've never been friends.
That's very likely.
One of his best.
But are you hinting that I made it up?
Not at all. I know you didn't. It was one of my granddad's stock stories.
You liar! It happened to me.
All right, dear, we won't argue.
I can ride through the air on a horse. I can ride...
Come on, ride through the air.
In my own good time. They'll come and I'll ride like a whirlwind over you all. It'll all fall at my feet.
Start staring mad. He's gone off his head. The liar.
You wait. Mark my words.
You mark mine, my boy. We'll warm your beak for you.
Needs a bloody good hiding. Juicy black eye.
Both them are lying. I'll show them. I'll show them.
Yes. Good evening, Pierre.
Oh, it's Mars the bridegroom. Why are you not with Ingrid, ma'am?
Listen, Pierre. Is it true you can ride through the air?
Well, of course it is, Mars. Not much I can't do.
I suppose you've got the invisible coat?
What hat, you mean? Of course. So there, you're back. Oh, go away, Mars. Oh, so there. Now, let's have our dance. I'm quite light on my feet.
Oh, please let me go.
Let you go?
You're so wild.
Like the reindeer, eh? When the summer comes on, we come along so there. Don't be obstinate.
No, I can't. No, I dare not.
Why?
You've been drinking.
Oh, don't go. Please come back.
Pierre.
What is it, Mars?
I wish you'd help me get into her room.
What, Ingrid's? Where is she?
In the loft.
Oh, I see.
It's the least you can do. You might have a try.
What, to get your bride? You must do that yourself. Oh. Ingrid, in the loft. Huh. Wait, Mars. Wait for me. So there! Oh, come here. Won't you change your mind? Yes, you're ashamed of me. I look like a tramp.
But you don't. It's not true. I don't think it at all.
Yes, I do. And what's more, I'm a little bit drunk. I was hurt. You'd offended me. That's why I did it. Oh, will you?
No, I dare not. I'm afraid.
Afraid? But of whom?
Well, mostly of Father.
Oh, a father, I see. Is he very straight-laced? Does he rule with an iron rod? Huh. Well, answer me.
What can I say?
Was your father religious, and you and your mother, are you the same kind? Why don't you answer me?
Please let me go.
No, I won't. I can turn myself into a troll. At the stroke of 12, I'll be in your room, and you'll hear a strange noise, a hissing and spitting next to your bed, and it won't be a cat, but me. Oh, no, Salve, I don't mean that. Dance with me, Salve.
No, now you're horrid.
Pierre, I'll give you an ox if you'll help me.
All right, Mars, come along then. The loft, you say.
Stop the music!
What's happening?
What do you think? Peer Gynt!
Have you killed him?
No! Peer Gynt is... Look! Up there on the hill!
Peer Gynt! With the bride!
With the bride!
Oh, the beast!
The sheer precipice! He's climbing!
Look how he's carrying her! She might be a pig!
He's stolen my daughter! I'll strike him dead!
Pierre, wake up, Pierre. It's Ingrid.
Oh, go away.
Where can I go?
Wherever you like.
You villain, you...
Oh, hold your tongue. This is where we part for good.
Memories bind us two forever.
The devil take all memories. The devil take all women, too. Excepting one.
Who is the one?
Not you.
Well, then who is she?
Oh, go away. Go home. Go back to your father.
You can't mean what you're saying.
Every word.
You steal what you want and pack me off.
Well, tell me what you have to offer.
Hagstead Farm and a good deal more.
Is your prayer book in your kerchief? Where's your plait of golden hair? Do you gaze down at your apron? Do you cling to your mother's dress? Answer.
No.
Were you confirmed last spring?
No, but listen,
Tell me,
dear.
does a holy feeling come to those who see you? Answer.
No, but...
That's all that matters.
They'll hang you if you fail me now.
The risk worth hanging for.
You'll get a farm. You'll be respected if you take me.
Impossible.
Here, come back.
Go.
You were a swindler.
I was a fool.
Your mind's made up?
Firm as a rock.
All right, then. We'll see who wins.
She's gone. The devil take all memories. The devil take all women, too. Excepting one.
mountain lake in the moorland. A storm is blowing up. Orza is searching for Pierre. Calling. She is in despair. Solveig can hardly keep pace with her. Solveig's father walks behind.
Curse the skies! Curse the waters and curse the mountains! The mists are rolling down to blind him. The waters meet in treachery to drown him. The mountains will slip away and crush him, and all those people trying to kill him. Oh, please, God, they must not. I can't do without him.
Rest for a little. The mist may clear. Sit by me. It's more sheltered here.
I can't believe this has really happened. We were as one in our sorrow and need. I expect you've heard of my husband's bad name, how he roamed the district throwing away his money like dirt, how he drank and he swore, while I and Pierre sat alone in the house. What could we do but try to forget? Well, we found comfort in fairy tales about emperors and trolls and stolen brides. Who'd think that these tales would stick in his mind? Listen. What's that? Pierre!
Poor thing.
Not a soul to be seen. Oh, my poor lost lamb.
You are right. He is lost.
No, don't say that.
He hardened his heart. His soul is lost.
No. Our Lord will have pity on him.
Did he pity Ingrid? Or did he scoff at her helplessness when he packed her off? He stole the girl. He must take the blame. He's loaded down by the weight of his shame.
He'll rise up and fly through the air. You'll see.
He did it before on the ending edge.
Nothing's beyond him, I tell you. You wait. If he lives long enough, he'll do something great.
It would be better to see him hang. With the rope round his neck, his eyes might open. He might repent.
Oh, you're driving me crazy, talking like that. We must find him.
To save his soul.
If he's in the marsh, we must drag him out. We must ring church bells if the trolls have got him.
Look, a footprint. I'll follow him up.
No, go back to the valley and ring church bells.
Bid them ring the bell.
You stay with me.
Bid them ring the bell.
Tell me more about your son.
About my son?
Yes, everything.
Tell you everything? I'd tire you out.
You tire of talking long before I tire of hearing.
Act 2 of Peer Gynt by Henrik Ibsen, as presented by the Old Vic Theatre Company of London, will follow immediately after a 15-second pause for station identification. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Pierre is now a fugitive from the angry village folk who seek vengeance for his carrying away of Ingrid, Mars Mohn's bride, and for deserting her. He has fled farther up the mountain, and all around him snowy peaks tower and gleam in the sunset. In a delirium, he gazes wildly about him.
Palace is rising. Look at that glittering gate. Stop, will you stop? It's
drifting further and further away. Oh, there's a band of glowing iron pressing upon my head. There's a sound of bells in the distance. Ah, there go 2 golden eagles, and the wild geese flying low. Here am I, plodding and stumbling, delirious in the snow. Look, there's the end of a gable. It's rising bit by bit. It's growing out of the mountain. It's my old grandfather's farm. The rags have gone from the windows. The palings are spruce and new. In every room, lights are blazing. There's a banquet in the hall. I can hear the parson tapping his knife against his glass. The captain flings his bottle. It smashes against the wall. Let them be lavish and squander. What's the matter? Mother, be quiet. Rich John Gint's giving a party. Hurrah for the house of Gint. What's all this bustle and hubbub? What's all this hullabaloo? The captain's calling for me. The bishop's drinking my health. In you go then, Peer, to the toasting. It rings out in clamour and song. Peer Gynt, you were born to greatness, and great you'll be before long.
Peer has leaped forward, but striking his head against a rock, falls to the ground unconscious. He begins to dream a horrible nightmare, though his first dream creature is a charming woman in green.
Is that true, Pierre? That you'll be great before long?
Who are you? Walking amidst the leaves, dressed in green? Do I dream you? How came I here?
Is that true, Pierre?
As true as the fact that I am Pierre, as true as the fact that you are gracious and fair. Will you have me? You'll see how nice I'll be. You won't have to weave or spin or mend. You'll have lots to eat and lots more to spend, and I'll never, never pull your hair.
You beat me.
We sons of kings don't beat our women.
You're a king's son?
Yes.
Well, I'm the daughter of the king of the Dover Mountains.
Are you now? Well, what a coincidence.
My father's palace is deep in the Ronde.
My mother's, I feel quite sure, is grandpa.
You know my father? His name's King Brother.
You know my mother? Her name's Queen Orza.
When my father's angry, the 4 winds awake.
When my mother starts scolding, the earth starts to quake.
My father can kick as high as a tower.
My mother can grind the rocks to flour.
Nothing to wear besides rags and tatters.
It's the man inside the breeches that matters.
Every day I wear silk and a golden pelisse.
Now, it looks more like tow and verdigris.
Ah, yes, darling. There's one thing that you must remember. In the Ronde we see with another sense, and everything seems to have a double shape. When you see my father's house, you might think it an ugly pile of rubble.
How peculiar. It's the same with us. You might fancy the gold is worthless dross, and the glittering window pane will look like a bundle of stockings and spongy moss.
Evil seems good.
And black seems white.
Little, those big.
And dull looks bright.
I see we are made for each other, Pierre.
Like breeches for legs or bottoms for chairs.
My steed shall bear the bridegroom and bride.
It looks to me like a pig you ride.
Him arch his neck, him proudly neigh.
Get up, get up. We'll gallop away to your father's palace. Gee up, old cow.
And I was feeling so sad just now. It goes to face the tongue.
Great folk are known by the style of their monk.
Aboard the Royal Pig to the hall of the Troll King of the Dover Mountains, a cavern deep under the mountains. Trolls assembled, young and old, great and small. They have the heads of pigs, baboons, women or fish, fairy tales, the voices of oxen or children or macaws. The Troll King on his throne with scepter and crown. His daughter, the woman in green, standing close by, children and relatives grouped around. Peer Gynt in the middle of the hall, alone.
We stopped preening ourselves. Our affairs of late have been going downhill, and no one knows whether we'll crash or recover. So we can't refuse help, whatever the source. Besides, the young man is almost without blemish, and virile, too, as far as I can see. So you're after my daughter?
Well, your daughter and your kingdom thrown in as her dowry, of course.
I'll give you half while I'm still alive. You can have the rest the day I snuff out.
Well, that's fair enough.
Wait a moment, my lad. You've got to make a few promises, too. If you break them, our pact becomes null and void, and you'll be lucky to get out of here alive. First of all, you must promise to wipe your mind the whole world outside the Rhondda Mountain.
If I'm king here, that ought to be easy.
Out there, among men living under the blue, the saying says, man to thyself be true. In the hills, we have no time for such self-righteous stuff. Our saying goes, troll, to thyself be enough. To thy selfishness be true must be enough, my boy, for me and you.
But,
It must if you're going to be king here.
Well, it must. It isn't worse.
Next, you must shed your Christian breeches. Up here in the Dover, we show our riches. Where's your tail? You must wag it and wave it.
I haven't a tail.
I can give you one, Chamberlain. Fasten my Sunday tail on him.
No, you won't. You're making a fool of me.
You can't boo my daughter without a tail.
But you turn men into beasts.
Oh, my son, you are unkind. I'm turning you into a gallant foe. We'll give you a flame yellow tip for your tail.
Well, they say we're feathers in the wind, and custom and fashion must carry us with them. All right, go ahead.
You're a wise young man. The serious part of our meeting is ended. Now we will feast our eyes and our ears. Harpist, pluck gently the Dover harp strings. Dancer, tread lightly the Dover hall floor. What do you think of it?
Think.
Speak your mind. What do you see?
Well, something frightfully ugly. A bell cow twanging a string with her hoof, a sow in short socks, out of step with the discord.
Dear, my son, I must do what I can to cure all your peculiarities.
And how will you do that?
I'll scratch your left eye. Then you'll begin to see your right. Then I'll cut your right window pane.
Are you drunk?
And then you'll see that your bride is lovely. Your eyes will never deceive you again with sows out of step and bell cows twanging.
This is lunacy.
The talking decision, he's the wise one, you're the fool.
Think of all the annoyance and worry you'll rid yourself of in the course of the years. And try to remember that the eyes are the source of bitter, angry tears.
Well, now, tell me, when will my sight be restored to normal again?
Never, my friend.
Oh, if that's the case, I must say no thanks.
Then what are you going to do?
Leave at once.
Now, on my life, I'm losing my temper. And I'm not here to be trifled with. You long-legged ass, do you know who I am? To begin with, you're far too free with my daughter.
That's a lie.
Can you deny that you cast a lecherous eye on her?
That's not such a serious crime after all.
By the end of the year, you'll be a proud father. If I could wake up, you'll be surprised when you see your brat half-breeds grow at a prodigious speed.
May hell snare you and your daughter, too.
Hell, fear, and now, my boy, for you. Smash him and bash him to bits of the rock!
In darkness, space, emptiness, where shall I go? Tell me, who are you? Myself. Move aside. I can say what I like, and my sword can strike hard. Take care, or I'll bring it down on your head. Who are you? Myself. What are you? The great boy, a great boy. Around about here. I'll go through you. He's fallen. There are more of you. The boy, Bear Kent. There is only one. There is only one. My sword's no good, but I have my fists. Rely on your fists. Have faith in your strength. Backwards or forwards, it's just as far. Within or without, the path is as narrow. He's here, he's there, he's all around. Fight, you must fight. The great boy gets his way by gentlemen. Give me claws and teeth to rend my flesh. Let me feel my own blood. Let me taste my own blood. If you want to save me, girl, do it at once. Don't stand there gazing shyly downward. Your prayer book, fling it straight in his face.
Slowly from his dream, he has called out to Solveig as he stands over him with a basket of food, her search ended. Now, seeing that he wakes, she runs through the forest. He struggles to rise.
Salve, where are you?
If you come over here, I'll run away.
Are you still afraid that I might cuddle you?
For shame, Pierre.
Ha! You know where I was last night? The tall king's daughter was chasing me.
Then we did right to ring the church bell.
Peer Gynt's not the sort who's so easily caught. Well, say something.
Oh, Pierre.
Oh, wait. Don't run away. I meant no harm. Salve, don't forget me. They must stop these wonderful cloudy flights to an airy world that never was. You're an outlaw, my lad, a fugitive, yes, an outlaw. No longer will your mother bring your food and lay the table. If you want to eat, you must help yourself. Hunt in the forest, fish in the streams, chop your own wood and light your own fires. Build your own house and set it in order. I'll build a beauty. Up on the roof, I'll have a tower and a weather vane. A mermaid carved on the gable end.
Tell me, where is... I wonder where... Tell me where... Oh, what am I looking for? I'm going crazy. Where is the key to the chest?
But, Oza, don't you remember? They've taken the chest and all your things.
For what?
For the theft of the bride at Hagsted.
Have mercy, God. The whole house cleaned out. It's shameful that people can be so harsh. The farm and the land have gone
There's
forever.
an increasing need for capable, efficient leaders
Old
in
Hagsted
business,
was
government,
hard,
and community affairs.
but the law was
To become a
harder.
leader, a man must learn self-discipline.
No one would help
Moreover,
me. No one showed pity. They outlawed my boy. Put him out. He's an outlaw.
And that's why, no matter
He
what a
must
man...
build his own house out there in the forest. Hunt like a beast for his meat. Fish the streams.
This house is yours till the day you die.
Bread of charity for me and my cat.
You've got your Pierre to thank for your misery.
My Pierre to thank. You're getting muddled. Ingrid got home safe enough in the end. They'd have shown more sense if they'd blamed the devil. He's the culprit. Why don't they blame him? The father of lies tempted my poor boy.
Wouldn't it be best to send for the parson? Things may be even worse than you think.
Send for the parson. Perhaps I should. But, oh God, no, I can't. I'm the boy's mother. I must help him. It's my sacred duty. Everyone's failed him. I'll do what I can. They've left him this coat. I'll patch it up. Would that I dared to filch the rug. Where are the stockings?
There, with the rubbish.
Kari, what's this? Oh, yes. It's an old casting ladle. It was one of his toys. He used to melt metal for buttons in this. He'd pretend to be a button molder. Once at a party, the boy marched in and asked his father for a piece of lead. Not lead, said my husband. I'll give you silver. King Christian's coin for the son of John Gynt. God forgive him. He was in such a state he couldn't distinguish between lead and gold. Here are the stockings. Oh, they're full of holes. I'll have to darn them.
It won't be too soon.
When I finish them, I'm going to bed. I'm so tired. And I feel so wretched. Kari, look. 2 shirts. They forgot to take them.
Oh, they have.
That's a bit of good luck. I think I can safely keep one of them here. No, I don't see why I shouldn't take both. The one he's wearing's quite threadbare.
But, Oza, you know that that's a sin.
I do know. I know, too, that repentance absolves us from sin. Well, I repent.
Deep in the forest, Pierre has completed his new hut. There are reindeer antlers over the door. The snow is piled high. It is dusk. Pierre stands outside the door, fastening a large wooden bolt.
There must be a bolt. A bolt to secure the door against trolls, against men and women. There must be a bolt. A bolt to keep out the venomous breed of hobgoblins. They come when night falls. They knock on the door. Open, Peer Gynt. They're as nimble as thoughts. They're under the bed, wink in the embers, blow down the chimney like flaming dragons.
God speed your work.
Sorry.
Don't send me away. You sent and I came. Now I am yours.
Sorry. You're not afraid to come so near me?
There were messages in your mother's words. Messages in my crowded dreams. The long, long nights and the empty days brought me the message that I must come. Down there, all the joy had departed from life. Laughter and tears were denied to me. I didn't know what was in your mind. I only knew what I should and must do.
But your father?
In the whole wide world, I've no one to call father or mother now. I've left them forever.
Sorry, my precious, to come to me.
Yes, for you alone. You must be all to me, my friend, and my life.
But you know the sentence they've passed on me? How they even took my inheritance?
It was not for your good that I left my loved ones.
But you know the rest. My life's at stake if anyone takes me outside this forest.
I asked my way here, and when they questioned me, where are you going, I answered, home.
Then away with nails and bars and bolts. I need no bolts to hide me from hobgoblin thoughts. If you dare to dwell with me here, my love, I know my heart will be consecrated. Oh, let me carry you. You're so slender and light. May I carry you? Oh, I will never tire. Oh, Salve, you're so lovely, so warm. Who would have thought I could make you love me? Oh, I've longed for you, day and night. Look, I built this.
I love it. It's yours. Oh, it's easy to breathe in the wind up here. The valley was stifling. I felt entombed. It was partly that feeling that drove me away. But here, I can hear the wind in the trees. Silence and song. Here I am at home.
Salve, are you quite sure it will be forever?
I have come to you. There is no way back.
Then you're mine. Go in. Let me see you inside. Go in. I'll get some logs for a fire. It'll soon be snug and bright and warm. You'll always be cozy. You'll never be cold. Go in. I must see you inside. My princess! I've found her and won her at last. Now a king's palace shall rise from the ground.
Is that true, Pierre?
What? Who are you?
He asks who we are.
Old friends, Pierre Gynt. My house is quite near. We are neighbors.
Indeed, that's news to me.
As your hut was built, mine grew at its side.
Well, I'm in a great hurry.
So you wear in the ronda. You always wear. But I'll plod along and still keep you in sight.
You're mistaken, old woman.
Oh, no. I was once when you made your promises under the leaves.
Made you promises? What do you mean?
That evening you came to my father's palace. Have you forgotten?
What never took place? What nonsense is this? When last did we meet?
The last time we met was the first time we met. Boy, your father's thirsty. Give him a drink.
Father, that brat? Are you trying to say?
You can always tell a pig by its skin. Where your eyes, can't you see he's as crooked in the shanks as you are in the mind?
Are you trying?
Are you trying to wriggle out?
Crook-legged brat.
He has grown very quickly.
You old witch, you don't dare to tell me
If
that...
you want to see me as fair as before, you only to turn that girl out of your house. Put her out of your mind and out of your sight. That my beauty will return.
Get away, you head.
You'll see if I will.
I'll kill you.
Try if you dare. Oh, no, Pierre
it. I can stand hard knocks. You will find me back here every single day. I'll open the door and spy on you both as you're sitting in the fireside glow, and you want to love her and kiss and embrace. I'll be at your side in my rightful place. We'll share you. Farewell, my dear Pierre. Now go and get wed.
You hell fiend.
Oh, dear, I nearly forgot. You'll have to look after your son, you wretch. Go on, little devil, go to your father.
I'll bring you with my axe. You wait. Just you wait.
Oh, dear, what a head he's got on his shoulders. You'll be daddy's double when you grow up.
I wish you was far.
Away as we are near.
And all
arises from thoughts and desires. It's hard on you, Pierre.
It's worse for her, Salve, my loveliest, purest gold.
Oh, yes. It's the innocent who always suffer. The devil said that when his mother thrashed him because his father turned up dead drunk.
Go round about, said the boy. That's what I must do. My king's palace has crashed before my eyes. We were so near, and now she's so far. Go round about. There's no way that leads straight through from me to her. Straight through? Well, perhaps there might still be a way. I think the Bible has something to say about repentance. But what does it say? I've no Bible. I've forgotten. There's no one to guide me here in the forest. All the same, the old witch was telling lies. She's out of my sight with her filthy ideas. Out of my sight, but not out of my mind. Insidious thoughts will follow me. No. I must find a way to go round about. Not for gain or for loss, but to cleanse myself forever from things that are best forgotten. What going after this so foul and smirched? Go in with trolls about my heels. Speak, but be silent. Confess, yet conceal.
Are you calling?
Go round about.
Pierre!
You must wait, Salve. It's dark here, and I've a heavy load.
Wait! Let me help!
No, stay where you are. I must bear it myself.
Well, don't be too long.
Be patient, dear. You must wait for me.
I will wait for you.
Lord God, will he never come back here? The nights are so endlessly long. I can't even send a message, and I have so much to say. There's no time to be lost, not a moment. So soon it had come, so soon. I only wish I could feel I'd not been so harsh with him.
Hello, Mother.
Pierre, thank God. Oh, here at last. My own dear boy. Oh, it's an awful risk you're running. Your life is in danger here.
My life was my life, Mother. I had to come down to you now.
Well, you've given the lie to Kari. I can leave you now in peace.
Leave me? What's this you're saying? And where do you think you can go?
Oh, Pierre, my time's nearly over.
What?
I haven't much longer to stay.
I was running away from my sorrows. I thought I'd be free from them here. Are you cold? Are your hands and feet cold?
Yes, Pierre. It will soon be over. When you see my eyes grow dim, you must close them very gently and arrange a coffin for me. See that it's a fine one, dear. Oh, no, of course not.
No, don't, Mother. There's time to talk of coffins.
Yes. You see how much they've left us? Just like that.
Mother, I know it's my fault. No point in reminding me.
You know. It was that old liquor. That's the cause of all our pain. You were drunk, my boy. My dear boy. You didn't know what you were doing. And that dreadful ride on the reindeer. No wonder you were so stressed.
Yes, let's forget all that nonsense. Let's forget the whole silly thing. Let's store up all our sorrows till later, till some other day. Let's have a nice long chat about this, that, and everything. Let's forget what's sad or unpleasant. Why, look there. Dear old Pussy. Still alive. Well, who would have thought it?
At night she seems so restless. You know what that means, don't you?
Is there any local gossip?
They say there's a girl around here who's pining for the height.
Yes, and Marsmo, is he settling down?
They say she pays no heed to the old folks' tears and prayers. You ought to visit them. You might be helpful to her.
And the blacksmith, what's he doing?
Don't talk about the blacksmith. I'd much rather tell you her name. Her name is... You know, her name...
Yes. Now let's have a nice long talk about this, that, and everything. Shall I fetch you a drink? Are you thirsty? Can you stretch in that little bed? Let me look. Why, this is surely the bed I had as a boy. You'd sit on the edge every evening and sing to me rhymes and songs.
Yes. And do you remember how we used to play at sledges when your father had gone away? A blanket was our sledge apron, and the floor was an ice-bound fjord.
Yes, but do you remember what was the best thing of all? Our fiery Arab horses.
Though I could ever forget. The cat we borrowed, we perched her up on the stool.
And drove away up hill and down dale to Soria Moria Castle. The castle that's west of the moon, the castle that's east. A stick you found in the corner of the cupboard was your whip.
I sat in front like the driver.
Yes, and you shook the reins and turned round as we galloped and asked me if I were cold. Oh, bless you, you ugly old beauty. You're always a loving soul. Oh, why are you moaning?
My back, dear, aching on these hard boards.
Well, sit up then, I'll hold you.
No, Pierre. I want to leave.
Leave?
I'm longing to get away.
Well, we'll wrap you up in the bedclothes. I'll sit on the edge of the bed and we'll while away the evening. I'll sing as you used to sing. I'll sing to you rhymes and songs.
Please, Pierre, will you bring my prayer book? I'm uneasy in my mind.
In Soria Moria Castle, king and prince are giving a feast. I'll lie back upon your cushions. I'm going to drive you there.
But, Pierre, am I invited?
Yes, both of us will be there. Gee up. Look alive there, Blackie. Mother, you're not cold, are you? Oh, now we're making headway. Grawny's got into her stride.
Pierre, dear,
I can hear bells ringing.
Jingling sleigh bells, dear.
It's a ghostly, hollow clanging.
We're driving over a fjord.
Pierre, oh, I'm frightened. What's that sighing? And that eerie whispering?
It's only the pine trees, Mother, murmuring on the hills.
Lights are gleaming in the distance. Can you see them dance?
Yes, on guard outside stands St. Peter. He's inviting you straight in.
Be greeting.
With honor, he's offering you some wine.
The cakes to offer.
He has a whole plate of them, and our parson's wife's making your coffee piping hot.
Am I going to meet her?
Only if you want to, dear.
You're driving your poor old mother to a lovely party.
Yep, look alive there, Blackie.
Are you sure we're on the right road?
It's an easy road to follow.
But the journey is long and tired.
But the castle's there in front of us. We'll be inside very soon.
I'll lie back and close my eyes now and trust to you, my own dear boy.
Put your best foot forward, Granny. There's a huge crowd gathering there. They're clamoring at the entrance. Hey! Peer Gynt and his mother are here. What's that, Mr. St. Peter? My mother may not come in. You'll search far and wide, I can tell you, and not find so honest a soul. Of myself, I'll say nothing. I can go back the way I came. If you ask me, well, I'll stay here. If not, well, I'll still be content. I've told as many whoppers as the father of lies himself. I've called my mother an old hen because she clucked so loud and long. But you must esteem and honor and please her and make her happy. You won't find anyone better in our part of the world these days. Hoo-hoo! Here's God the Father. St. Peter, you'll catch it now. Just stop that bullying, Peter. Mother Orsay is welcome here. Ha-ha! They are. Here. Ha-ha! They are. What did I tell you? St. Peter's piped down already. Oh, Mother, what is it? Tell me. Oh, don't stare at me like that, Mother. Say something. It's Peter, your boy. Well, you can rest now, Granny. The journey's come to an end. Thank you, dear, for all that you gave me. The flashings and the kisses, too. But now you must thank me, Mother. This kiss. The fare for the drive.
Pierre.
Who is?
It's Carly, your neighbor, Pierre. What? Pierre? Well, you've put an end to her sorrow and suffering. Dear God, she is sleeping soundly. Oh, is she?
She is dead. You see that she's decently buried. I must get away from here.
Are you going far?
Away to sea.
As far as that?
Yes, and farther still.
We pause now in our Columbia Workshop presentation of Peer Gynt. And after the usual 15-second station identification break, you will hear the further adventures of Peer Gynt, played by Ralph Richardson and the Old Vic Theater Company. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Peer Gynt's youth is over. Orsa is dead. And Peer goes away from Norway, away from his past. Peer Gynt is still on the run, Up in the forest stands the unfinished hut he built for Solveig, and there Solveig waits for Pierre. For 40 years, Pierre travels the globe, running away from himself, dreaming the dreams first born in his childhood, haunted by his beliefs in his native folklores, trolls, and the boig. Solveig gave him her love, but his memories of other girls, his inability to confess to her his weaknesses, his need always to play the hero in life as well as in his dreams, drives him on and on. He sails for foreign shores, to Charleston in the Carolinas, where he becomes a wealthy, well-fed, well-groomed trader.
Drink, gentlemen. If man is meant for pleasure, let him take his pleasure. The past. What's done is done.
To China, where he adds a title for himself.
I've money in my pocket, and I am myself, Sir Peter Gint. Now I think I'm going to bed.
To Africa, where he schemes to realize his dream of becoming emperor of the world, and meets the fair Anitra.
Do you know what life is, child?
No. But teach me, please.
To float dry-shod down the stream of life, being yourself. That is life.
To Egypt, 100 other places, and at last, so gaudy his dreams, he is confined for a while in an asylum for the deluded. In all this time, while Pierre wanders the far-off places, living incredibly, Solveig waits for him in the small hut he built high in the mountains. His adventures, now finished chapters, his love affairs cast aside like worn-out clothing, Pierre, still seeking the answer to his lifelong quest, returns to his homeland. And stripped of all his worldly goods, the old man grovels on the ground, reflecting upon his past life.
Back to his mother again. The ship went down. I escaped with my life, but I lost all I had. What's it matter? The great thing in life is to fill your belly. Fill it with onions. Well, what's it matter? I'll be cunning. I'll set some snares. There's a stream nearby, so I won't go thirsty. I'll still be a lord of creation here. And when I die, I suppose I will, I'll creep beneath a fallen tree like a bear. I'll cover myself with leaves, and on the bark I'll scratch in big letters, "Here lies Peer Gynt, a decent fellow, emperor over all the beasts." Emperor, you silly old buffoon. You are no emperor. You are just this onion. And I'm going to peel you, my little Pierre. Neither tears nor prayers will help you now. There's the outer layer, all bruised and broken. The juice is gone, if it ever had any. This layer here with the hard, coarse skin is the fur hunter of Hudson Bay. The next layer is like a crown. Thank you. We'll throw that away without more ado. Here's the archaeologist, short but sturdy. And here's the prophet, juicy and fresh. He stinks, as the proverb says, of lies. It's enough to bring tears to an honest man's eye. This layer, so soft and immaculate, is the man who lived for gaiety. The next one looks poorly. It's shot through with black. There's quite a multitude of layers. When am I going to get to the heart? There isn't one. Right through to the middle, it's layers and layers, each getting smaller. Nature is witty. Blazes with thought. Once you start thinking, you start stumbling too. As a matter of fact, I can smile at that danger. I seem to be firmly set on all fours. That hut in the forest, I could swear. I know I've seen this building before, those reindeer antlers over the door, that mermaid carved on the end of a gable. Lies. It's no mermaid. Nails and boards. A boat to keep out hobgoblin thoughts. Salve, one who remembered, one who forgot, one who had faith, and one who had none. Oh, misery! My empire was here.
Here turns away and runs away deep into the forest. The button molder, carrying his bag of tools and a huge casting ladle, comes up to Pierre from a side path.
Good evening, old man. Good evening, my friend. You're in a great hurry. Where are you going? To a funeral.
Oh, really? My sight's not good. Excuse me. Does your name happen to be Pierre?
Yes, it does. Peer Gynt.
Well, I call that luck. I've been searching for Peer Gynt everywhere.
Oh, what do you want?
Well, you see, I'm a button molder. I want you for my ladle.
For what? What for?
You are to be melted down.
Melted?
Yes. My ladle's been cleaned and it's empty. Your grave is dug. Your coffin is ordered. I have orders here from my employer to bring him your soul without any delay.
You can't do that. I've had no warning.
It's the custom at funerals and births to give the chief guest a tremendous surprise.
But, my good man, surely there's some mistake. I'm worthy of better treatment than this. I'm not so bad as you seem to think. I've done my share of good deeds on earth.
You're entirely missing the point, my dear man. It's because your sins were such puny ones that you're going to escape perpetual torment and are ending, like most, in the casting ladle.
Get behind me, Satan.
My friend, you're under a great delusion. You are, as you yourself have said, nothing great in the way of a sinner. scarcely even a middling one.
Well, now you're talking reasonably.
But I think it would be going too far if I were to call you virtuous.
I certainly don't lay claim to that.
Well, then, we'll say betwixt and between. A sinner in the true grand style. It hardly ever met nowadays. Sinning like that takes strength and purpose. There's more to it than splashing in the mud.
That's perfectly true.
The sulphur pool is not for those who have splashed in the mud.
And therefore, my friend, I can go as I came.
And therefore, my friend, you'll be melted down. Come, you know the trade, so you'll understand that a casting can sometimes have a flaw. A button, for instance, may have no loop. What would you have done with it?
Thrown it away.
Oh, yes. Your father was a squanderer. But my employer is very careful. He throws away nothing. He finds a use for the useless as raw material. You were meant to be a shining button on the world's waistcoat. But your loop gave way. So you must be merged again into the mass.
But you don't mean to say you're going to melt me down with any Tom, Dick, or Harry? This ladle business is the ending of Ghent. My inmost soul revolts at it.
But, my dear Pierre, what difference can it make to you? You've never been yourself.
I've not been myself. I could almost laugh. Pierre Ghent, not himself.
You're wasting my time. Pierre Ghent has never been himself.
What do you mean by being yourself?
Well, that's an astounding question from you. Why, only just now?
No, tell me, please.
To be yourself is to free the best by extinguishing the worst in yourself. But I think that would be lost on you, so we'll put it more simply. To carry out the master's intention in every detail.
How about the man who's never been told what the master intended to do with him?
His intuition should tell him that.
Listen, I'll give up my claim to be myself. It wouldn't have been easy to prove anyhow. I'll accept that part of the case as lost. But we were talking of sinning just now. I felt the shoes of my conscience pinch, and I said to myself, yes, you're a sinner.
Now you're beginning all over again.
No, not at all. I mean simply sinning on the grand scale, not in deeds alone, but in purpose and word. Oh, when I was abroad, I sank so low.
So you say. But if you could show me a list...
A list of my sins. Give me time. Give me time.
Very well, Pierre Ghent. We'll meet again at the next crossroad.
Where shall I look?
At the next crossroad?
I'd rather go to the sulphur pool and completely lose my identity. The list. I must find the list of my sins. I must find it. There goes a shooting star, falling, falling. Greetings from Pierre Ghent, brother shooting star. Shine forth, be extinguished, disappear forever. Is there no one in this great world, no one in the depths, no one in heaven? So soul can go back so wretchedly poor into the grey mists of nothingness. Beautiful earth, do not be angry that I have trod you and left no mark. How mean is the spirit, how lavish is nature. How costly to pay with one's life for one's birth. I'll climb to the top of the highest peak. I'll see the sun rise once again. I'll gaze upon the promised land until my eyes are tired out. Then let the snow pile over me and on my tomb write, here no one is buried.
Good morning, Pierre Ghent. Where's your list of sins?
What? The crossroads here? This is quick work.
Your time is up.
Everything's up. The owl smells the rats. Do you hear him hooting?
It's a woman singing.
What? What's that light? in the mist, over there.
Only a cottage.
There I shall find my list of sins.
Stay, your time is up.
Clear off! If your ladle were as big as a ship, it would still be too small for me and my list.
To the third crossroads, Pierre? Very well.
Backwards or forwards, it's just as far. Within or without, the path is as narrow. No, I can hear it, a wild, endless cry, bidding me go in, go back home. Salve, pronounce the sentence on a sinner.
It is he. Oh, praise be to God.
Tell me how wickedly I've sinned.
You have sinned in nothing, my only love.
The list, Peer Gynt.
Cry out my sins aloud.
You have made my life a beautiful song. Bless you for having come back to me. And blessed, oh, blessed be this Whitsun morn.
I am lost unless you can answer a riddle.
Ask it.
Where has Peer Gynt been since you saw him last with the mark of destiny upon his brow? Where has he been since he first sprang forth as a thought newly made in the mind of God? Can you tell me that? If not, I must go to my last home in the land of shadows.
Your riddle is easy.
Then tell me, where was I? My real self, my whole self, my true self. Where was I with God's stamp upon my brow?
In my faith, and in my hope, and in my love.
My mother, my wife, you holy woman. Oh, hide me within your love.
We shall meet at the last crossroads, Pierre. And then we'll see if I'll say no more.
the beautiful strains of Edvard Grieg's score echo in memory, the curtain comes down on the second and final American radio performance by the Old Vic Theatre Company of London, England. Ralph Richardson starred as Peer Gynt. Laurence Olivier played the Troll King and the Button Molder. Others in the Old Vic cast included Joyce Redmond as Solveig, Ina Burrell as Orza, Margaret Leighton as the Green Woman, and Nicolette Bernard as Ingrid. Harry Andrews acted as narrator. The Columbia Symphony Orchestra was conducted by Herbert Menges. John Burrell is director of the Old Vic Players and has had for these two special 90-minute Columbia Workshop presentations the association of Richard Sandville of CBS. Peer Gynt by Henrik Ibsen was prepared for radio by Charles S. Monroe of the CBS Program Writing Division. Today's performance of Peer Gynt and last week's Richard III together comprised the only American radio appearances of the famous Old Vic Theatre Company of London, England, during their present limited season of repertory in New York under the auspices of Theatre Incorporated. The Columbia Workshop will resume its customary half-hour form over most of these CBS stations with the presentation of Sometime Every Summertime by Fletcher Markle. Your announcer is Harry Marvel. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
This is Studio One at CBS. The Columbia Broadcasting System invites you to Studio One for the third broadcast in a new series of hour-length versions for listening of celebrated stories, novels, and plays. We introduce the director of Studio One, Fletcher Markle.
Tonight, a social drama. But please don't let those words confuse you as to the nature of the play. It's a most arresting and provocative story with a very important idea behind it, and I'm sure you'll find it worth your time. Back in the days when its author, Henrik Ibsen, hurled his plays at the world, they rocked nations. Some of them are now out of date or out of style, but others are just plainly and simply neglected. Poor Ibsen, one can reasonably imagine him sulking in one of the cooler corners of heaven reserved for Scandinavians, muttering in his beard about what has happened to his plays. But tonight's story is one that would surely snap him out of his dark mood. It's called An Enemy of the People. Arranged in contemporary terms, we're going to perform it for you now. For you and for Ibsen.
From Studio One, CBS presents An Enemy of the People by Henrik Ibsen.
My affairs are going very nicely these days, Hofstad.
That was the voice of Dr. Thomas Stockman. You've met him somewhere, or someone like him. He's slipping over into the heavy side of middle age. He's a family man with a grown-up daughter, Polly, and 2 sons in their teens. He's a confident man. It's in his walk, what he has to say, in his clothes, and most of all in the way he keeps taking off his glasses and waving them at you to stress his points. Just as he's waving them now at his friend Hofstad, a newspaper editor.
You know, it's nice to be comfortably off, Hofstad.
Of course you know men like Stockman.
We can afford a few luxuries now. Catherine says I almost earn as much as we spend.
Doing all right then, Thomas.
Oh, yes. Here, Hofstad, can I fix you up another drink?
Confident is right, since Dr. Stockman became medical officer for the big new health resort here in his hometown. He's worked up a nice private medical practice, too. His stock is pretty high among the townspeople because it was his idea developing the rather unusual mineral waters just on the edge of town.
There you are, Hofstad. Just the way you like it.
Oh, thank you, Thomas.
That fellow Stockman is talking to, Hofstad, he's a very good friend of the doctor's. He's editor of the People's Messenger, the local paper. Some people consider him pretty far advanced politically. That's one of the things Dr. Stockman likes about him. If Hofstad is the advanced element in the town, I suppose the doctor's brother, Peter, is at the opposite end of the scale of morality. Peter Stockman is the mayor of the town, and he'll probably get elected again next year if his speeches are dull enough, and they are, and if he compromises enough, and he does. Peter Stockman is also chairman of the board of directors for HR Enterprises, Health Resort Enterprises. He's done all right for himself. The 2 brothers never got along very well together. Too many differences between them.
Peter, you don't appreciate this town as I do. Having to live so long away from it in my little outpost up north, hardly seeing anybody. And to come back here, so much going on, and the community spirit. I appreciate the town.
Yes, the town's all right, Thomas. Now with the new health resort, well, if it's a success, then we all gain.
It isn't just the money. It's having all kinds of things to work for and fight for. That's what matters.
Is it?
I'm really happy here as health officer, so comfortably off. Able to provide some comforts at last for Catherine and the children. We nearly starved up there in the north.
Oh, now, Thomas, you exaggerate.
I don't mean starvation from not enough to eat, but starvation for mental stimulation. Oh, the joy of mixing with progressive and inquiring minds like Hofstad.
Say, what's this article of yours Hofstad's going to print in his newspaper?
Oh, that. It's
It's about the health resort, I hear.
Yes, it won't be going to the paper for a while yet, though.
Why not?
Oh, I'd rather not talk about it just now.
Look here, I'm entitled to know about all arrangements regarding HR Enterprises. You should route that matter through the proper channels, businesslike.
I see you've heard rumors.
Well, you have to check with your superiors. They're held responsible.
Well, Peter, it's too soon to talk about it.
Yes, you think you can say whatever you like and even write it. But believe me, this high and mighty independence, you'll pay for it sooner or later.
Yes, Peter.
I'm serious.
You always are, Peter. And about the wrong thing.
That rather typical exchange between the 2 brothers took place on a Tuesday afternoon. Neither knew how close they were to the most violent battle the 2 had ever had. The thing that set it off came that night. The doctor was sitting at home fooling and laughing with his family, and his father-in-law, Morton Callum, was over that night, too, and Hofstad. And Stockman's daughter, Polly, a schoolteacher, came along late.
And then what happened, Daddy? Yeah, Daddy, how'd you get out of it?
You weren't supposed to ask that question.
Oh, you shouldn't tell such tall tales to the children, Thomas. What are you laughing about?
Oh, Polly.
Fine thing. You enjoying yourselves while I've been out slaving?
Come on in and join the party.
Sure, Mr. Hofstad.
Well, Polly.
Hello, Grandfather. You here, too?
Yes, I came to see you. And you weren't here.
Oh, golly, am I tired. Is there any more tea there, Mom? Get yourself a cup off the sideboard. Whole day teaching and 2 hours night school on top of that.
Well, do you think your students learned anything?
Sure, a bunch of smug lies. Come on, move over, Dad. Let me sit down.
All right.
Polly, now, don't talk that way about your teaching. It's a wonderful profession. Come on, Dad, over.
All right.
And none of your lectures, Mother, about the fine privilege of serving impressionable young minds.
There's room enough there for you, Polly. You're not that big yet.
Oh, I gained another pound today. Teaching may be a noble calling, but it's darn sedentary.
You'll become a fine, plump woman in no time.
Oh, that's terrible, Grandfather. Oh, say, Dad, I forgot. I have a letter for you.
A letter? Who's it from?
Wait a minute. It's here in my purse. Here it is. Postman gave it to me just as I was going out this morning. I didn't have time to come back.
So you carry my mail with you all day. I've been expecting this.
What is it, Thomas?
Just a minute. Yeah, just as I thought. I'll greet my dear brother Peter with this in the morning. Now the town will have something to get head up about.
I don't understand all this, Thomas.
I kept quiet until I had proof, Peter, and now I've got it in this letter. I warned the board there were dangers in the design and location, but nobody would listen to me then. Well, they'll have to now.
Come to the point.
You know what this health resort we've sunk so much money in to attract tourists and invite... Do you know what it really is?
What is it?
The whole place is a pest house.
Oh, a health resort?
Health? It's polluted. It's saturated with disease. All the waste product up at Mulladow from the tannery, all that stinking filth is infecting the water in the pipes leading to the reservoir and seeps out on the shore, too.
Where the bathing beach is?
Exactly. Our bathing beach is a cesspool of dangerous bacteria.
But that's your father-in-law's problem. It's his tannery that's contaminating the water. And you'd better not cross up old Morton Callum. He's your security. Your family will be getting his money someday.
I know, Peter, but you must remember it was H.R. Enterprises that made the water diversion. Oh, Morton Callum isn't responsible. The tannery isn't responsible, not legally. Remember last year we had some tourists take sick here? Typhoid cases and cases...
They were infected before they came here. You said so,
Well, I thought so then, but later, in the winter, I began to change my mind. So I went to work as health officer and got some samples of the water. I tried to make the tests myself, but with the small amount of lab equipment I have at hand...
Ah, you were mistaken, You couldn't prove it?
And I sent the samples, both of the drinking water and the swimming water, up to the university to have an accurate analysis made.
And?
Here it is, this letter. It proves the presence of decomposed organic matter in the water. Full of infusoria and it's an appalling situation.
I don't believe it.
Well, here's the letter. Read it yourself.
Was it necessary for you to make all these investigations behind my back?
Yes, because until I was absolutely sure about it...
And you feel absolutely sure now?
It's there in the letter. Can you doubt it?
And as local health officer, you intend to bring this before the board?
Yes, I've prepared a report with recommendations. What we're giving the tourists now is a constant supply of disease germs. Just think, water that's infectious whether you drink it or swim in it. That's what we offer sick people who come to us in good faith and pay exorbitant rates to be made well again.
As usual, you exaggerate, do you not?
What's needed is a new drainage system to draw off the waste material from Mulladow and relay the water...
Do the whole thing over again?
Well, do you see any other way out of it? I don't.
And what do we do with the resort in the meantime? Why, no one had come near the place after it got around that the water was dangerous.
Yes, but, Peter, that's what we're up against.
There are other towns along the waterfront that'll grab off our tourist trade. And then where are we going to be? We might as well give up the whole project, lose everything. And you can be proud of having ruined your hometown.
Me? I've ruined it. I didn't put the bugs there.
Health Resort Enterprises is the only thing that ever brought any business to this town. We've got a bit of a future now.
Granted. What do you suggest we do?
Nothing. I'm not convinced that the water's as bad as
It'll be even worse this next summer when the hot weather comes. You want an epidemic on your hands?
Oh, stop exaggerating, Thomas. A competent physician ought to know what measures to take to prevent any trouble. Or at least to... Here's the whole point. You have to accept the engineering that's been done on the water system. Oh, I'm sure the board will give some consideration to your suggestions for improvements. As long as it doesn't cost too much.
That would be a nice piece of fraud.
Fraud?
Yes, a fraud. A lie. An out-and-out public crime.
I told you before, I'm not convinced there's any immediate danger.
Look, it was because of your influence, your pressure, that the health resort was built so near the water outlets from the tannery. Because you own property there. That's what's bothering you, that blunt-headed greed and stupidity of yours. Huh? I don't see through you.
What if I do protect my reputation? It's for the good of the town. I've done more for this place than any other mayor they've ever had. So it's in the public's interest to withhold that report. With an election coming on. But later on, I'll raise the question with the board, and we'll do our best, privately. But nothing of this is to leak out. Not a word to the public.
Well, I'm afraid I can't stop that now, Peter.
You better.
Too many people know about it already.
Who? Don't tell me those friends of yours on the People's Messenger, those yellow journalists, Hofstad.
That's right.
You and your busybody troublemaking, you want to cut off the most important source of income for the whole town.
But the source is poison, man. Stop and think. We're making a living out of retailing, filth, and corruption. Our business gets its dividends from a lie.
It's very painful for me, Thomas, as mayor, to have my nearest relative always criticizing and attacking things and suggesting costly reforms.
But you forget I'm health officer. Don't you think it's the duty of every educated man to pass on his knowledge and ideas to the public?
Oh, leave the public alone. Just stir up a lot of fuss.
Are things so perfect they don't need to be criticized and changed? That's your honest opinion?
Yes. You're a fanatic and a fool. You've no idea how much harm you do yourself by being so outspoken. You fight with the authorities and you fight with the businessmen. You disregard everyone you should have some consideration for. You've forgotten completely that it was I who got you your appointment as medical officer for the resort.
I was entitled to it. I was the first one who saw that the town could be made into a successful health resort, and I was the only one at the time. I had to plug away at it for years, and I wrote and wrote.
Well, it wasn't the moment for it. As soon as the opportune time came, I and others, practical businessmen, took the matter up.
Yes, and made this mess of it. Pretty bright bunch.
Thomas.
What?
Look. Now, we're brothers, Thomas. I want you to do something. But if you don't, I'm going to get tough, too.
Oh, you are?
Since you've been stupid enough to let this matter get out when it should have been treated as official and confidential, you're going to make a public retraction.
A retraction? How?
After further investigation, you will come to the conclusion that the situation isn't as bad as you figured in the first place.
You expect me
And
to...
also, you'll make a public statement of your confidence in the Board of Health Resort Enterprises and in their great readiness to remedy any defects or any possible defects.
Oh, but you won't be able to fix it by tinkering here and patching there. It's impossible. How can I say it more emphatically? Impossible.
Maybe I should remind you. You have no right to a private opinion.
No right?
As a subordinate member of the staff of HR Enterprises, you have no right to express any opinion which runs counter to that of your superiors.
Oh, but this is too much. I'm a doctor, a man of science. And you tell me I've no right in my own
This
field
isn't a matter that's just scientific. It's more complicated and involves economic as well as technical.
I don't care what it involves. You a pack of...
I won't allow it. I, your superior, and you'd better obey me or you'll...
Obey you! Hofstad has that article of mine, and all he's waiting for is my word to go ahead and print it. Well, now he'll get it.
Anything to embarrass us, the people who are trying to run the community.
I'll get Larson's support, too.
Larson?
As chairman of community welfare, he's as interested in health as I am. Don't forget he's also president of the Taxpayers Association.
Larson won't support you.
Ah. Peter, dear Mr. Mayor, that does worry you a bit, doesn't it? Hello, Hofstad?
Yeah, Thomas?
You can go ahead and print that article of mine on the water situation.
Good. We'll hit them hard. Go in today.
I'd also like you to run a news story on the reception I've received from the authorities.
Sure, I'll take it.
I'll pound it out and bring it right over.
Fine. You didn't get very far.
Nowhere. See you.
Right.
Ah, good, Mr. Larson. You're in.
Hello, Doctor. Sit down. Your brother was just here, just left.
My brother? What did he want, about the water?
Yes.
I suppose he tried to tell you a lot of lies.
Doctor, this is a serious matter. Is it true it'll cost close to $500 million to make the engineering changes necessary?
I don't know what it'll cost. Maybe.
And the town will have to pay for it?
No, the company will pay for it. Health Resort Enterprises.
But the company isn't in a position to incur any further expenses. Your brother just told me that. He should know, both as chairman of the board and as mayor. He also told me it might mean things will be shut down for 2 years while the changes are made. What is the town going to live on in the meantime? A lot of new people have moved in here. Some stores
I don't know, but the resort can't go on as it is, infecting people.
I'm sorry, Doctor. I'm afraid I can't go along with you on this.
But wait a minute, Mr. Larson.
No, it won't be any use. I don't see where there's any choice but to...
Close up the resort for 2 years if it's necessary.
Are you out of your mind? Every storekeeper in the town would be ruined. Real estate values...
Well, maybe that's better than infecting the whole country. The tourists will carry the infection with them.
Doctor, I've always been a reasonable man. You and I have always gotten along well together. But I must say this is going too far. You're saying things like that. I'm inclined to agree with your brother. You're exaggerating. This whole thing is imagination.
Imagination, Mr. Larson? This is solid scientific fact. Here, Howstead, I'm late. Print this too. Print it.
Hello, Stockman. You finally got here.
We'll blow this town to...
Thomas?
Oh, Peter. What are you doing here in Howstead's office? Nice job you did with Larson.
I just told him the simple consequences.
Howstead, is this great public figure my brother trying to scare you into not printing my article? Because I'm sure his threats and lies can't make any impression on you anyway. That weak-kneed old grandmother Larson. Look, Howstead, here's the news story I promised you over the phone. Just run it side by side with the main article.
No, Thomas. I'm not going to print it.
Not? Well, what does this mean?
I didn't realize the implications in this, Thomas, that it would take so much money and time to, well, you gave me a rather false picture.
False picture? I'll be responsible for any false picture. Just print the article. I'll be able to defend it. I thought you were my brother's political opponent.
Certainly, but it'd be political suicide for me to print your article. We can fight the election on other issues.
You've got a chance to blast the mayor right out of office, and you won't use it.
Thomas, what chance would my party or my paper have publicizing this and jeopardizing the future of the town? I might as well get my razor and cut my own...
Print my article as a handbill. Leave it out of your paper. I'll pay the cost.
No, I wouldn't touch it in any form.
Hofstad, you said you were fighting for truth and freedom.
Thomas, prepare yourself for another surprise. Mr. Hofstad is going to print an article I'm going to write for him, presenting the real situation.
May I kiss the bride? Which of you is the bride? I'll hire a hall to speak the truth. And I'll parade the streets with a drum and shout the truth. You won't shut me up. I'll call a public meeting. I will. I'll hire a hall. Could I have your attention, please? Will the meeting please come to order? It's 1:15, and so I think I'll begin. I see that some of my enemies are present in the audience. Good. Tonight they'll see how truth can win out.
Just a moment.
Mr. Larson...
I think we ought to elect a chairman first.
No, that's not necessary, Mr. Larson. This is my meeting.
I think so, too. As mayor, I think we should have a chairman.
Your Honor, I'm only going to deliver a lecture. We don't need a chairman.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Stockman's lecture might lead to a hot and heavy discussion. We need a presiding officer.
Yeah, chairman, the mayor's right. Let's have a chairman.
I vote we have a chairman.
Now it's the proper way.
the general wish of the meeting seems to be that a chairman should be elected.
Well, let the meeting have its way.
I nominate the mayor.
Thank you, friends, but I'd like to decline, if you don't mind, for various reasons. There is a man here, though, who I think will be acceptable to all of you. The president of the Taxpayers Association, Mr. Larson.
Well, since my fellow citizens want it, very well, I'll take the chair.
Well, then get up there on the platform.
Yes. And now, as chairman, I'd like to say a few words.
He always does.
I'm a quiet and peaceful man who believes in discreet moderation and in moderate discretion. Anybody who knows me knows that.
You tell him, Larson.
I have learned in the school of life and experience that moderation is the most valuable virtue a citizen can possess, especially in these times.
Hear, hear.
I would therefore suggest to our esteemed fellow citizen, Dr. Thomas Stockman, who has called this meeting on his own initiative, that he should keep strictly within the bounds of moderation.
3 cheers for the Moderation Society.
Gentlemen, please. I see the mayor has his hand up. Yes, you have something to say, sir?
Mr. Chairman, in consideration of the close family relationship between myself and the present medical officer of Health Resort Enterprises, I'd rather not have had to say anything this evening. But my official position with regard to the resort and my concern for the vital interests of the town in general force me to put forward the motion. I'm sure none of you want any unreliable and exaggerated accounts of the sanitary condition of the resort and the town spread around. Therefore, I should like to move that this meeting vote not to permit the medical officer to give his proposed lecture.
Not permit me? What trick is this?
Doctor, please, do not interfere with our meeting.
But it's my meeting.
Doctor, you're out of order.
Well, Very well, go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, in my statement published in the press, I presented the facts, the truth to the public, so that every fair-minded citizen could form his own judgment on the issue. It's pretty obvious the medical officer's insinuations are an insult to the leading and most highly respected citizens of this community. But more important than that, his proposals would saddle every taxpayer in this community with increased taxes. Do you want that?
Order! I must say that I agree with the mayor. No one doubts the good intentions of the doctor, but when it ends up being an increased burden on the taxpayers, as it would be in this case, and I, for one, although I've always admired him, will see Dr. Stockman hanged before I will go along with him in this matter. Mr. Hofstad, you may speak, Mr. Hofstad.
I, too, feel called upon to explain my position as editor of the People's Messenger. Now, Dr. Stockman's agitations for greater health measures in the town seemed to be gaining a certain amount of sympathy at first, so I supported them impartially, as is the policy of our paper. In this issue, too, we were going to support the doctor, but then we began to suspect that we'd allowed ourselves to be misled by misrepresentation of the facts.
Misrepresentation? How do you know? You haven't even heard the facts yet.
Shut up, please don't interrupt.
As you know, my paper, The People's Messenger, on broad international questions sometimes goes quite far, really quite advanced. But in dealing with purely local matters, experience has shown that a newspaper ought to proceed with a certain caution.
You can say that again.
Now, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious in the matter before us that our health officer, Dr. Stockman, has public opinion against him. Now, what's an editor's first and most obvious duty, gentlemen? Isn't it to print what the readers want?
And isn't it up to him to work persistently and conscientiously for the welfare of those whose opinions he represents, his readers, the public? Or is it possible that I am mistaken in that?
Right, officer. You better crib what we believe in.
Yeah, sure.
I never liked your paper.
You have no idea. You have no idea what a severe struggle it's been for me to break with Stockman. A man who's been my friend.
Hey! Which Stockman did you break with, the mayor or the doctor?
My duty to you forces me to break with Dr. Stockman. I will now put the mayor's proposition to a vote. That the medical officer not be permitted to lecture. There isn't any need. Tonight, I have no intention of dealing with all that filth down at the resort. I've got something else to speak about.
Mr. Chairman, I'm a taxpayer, and so consequently, I have a right to speak too. And my absolute, unswerving, and inconceivable opinion. I called the meeting. Am I going to be allowed to speak?
Dr. Stockman will address the meeting.
I'd like to have seen anyone a few days ago there to silence me as has been done tonight. I'd have defended my sacred right to speak as a man, like a... Well, I let the issue of the poisonous condition of the water pass. I have something more important to say to you. I've thought and pondered a great deal these last few days. Pondered over so many things that my head's almost burst. But I got it straightened out at last. I've made a discovery much bigger than that piddling matter about our polluted water supply.
I thought you weren't going to talk about the result.
I have discovered that our moral life is poisoned. Our moral life and the whole fabric of our society is founded on lies.
Is that so? I suggest the speaker moderate his language.
I have always loved my hometown. When I was up north, I thought a lot about it. I wanted to do something for this place and the people here. So I worked out the plan for making a health resort out of it.
It was your idea, but you didn't work out the plan.
Well, when I had the chance to come home at last, I thought I was very lucky. That's all I wanted, to be back here and to be of public service to this community.
Be quiet.
Yesterday, my eyes were opened, and for the first time, I realized the enormous corruption of the authorities.
I object to the phrase enormous corruption. By virtue of my authority as chairman of this meeting...
It's quibbling to catch me up on a praise, Mr. Larson. Perhaps I should say the boneheadedness of the leading citizens of this town. They stand in the way of every independent and intelligent man, whichever way he turns. And what I'd like best to see is every blessed one of them kicked right out.
Doctor, please try to be tactful in your language.
All right, I won't say anything more about our leading citizens. They're not the greatest danger and most terrifying enemy of truth and freedom.
Who then? Yeah, who? Name them.
Yes! Naming them, I'll name them. That is precisely the discovery I made yesterday. The most dangerous enemy to truth and freedom is the majority of the people. You, all of you, now you know.
You should be arrested by the guys. Retraction! Yeah, we heard enough.
The majority of the people. You're an enemy of truth and freedom.
This is Studio One at CBS, presenting as its third broadcast in a new series of hour-length dramas, An Enemy of the People by Henrik Ibsen. The story will resume after a pause for station identification. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. Continuing the third program from Studio One, Columbia's new hour-length dramatic series, we present the second half of An Enemy of the People.
Quiet, please! As chairman, quiet! Quiet, order! Quiet! As chairman, I urgently request the Speaker to withdraw the ill-considered remark he made a moment ago.
No, I'm sorry. It's the majority in this town denies me my freedom and tries to keep me from speaking the truth.
The majority always has right on its side. Are we not taught so in school?
And truth, too. That is one of those political lies you leaders have used to blind the... Oh, don't you see? The majority never has right on its side. Never, I say.
Talking against the majority.
Wait, let me finish. Let me finish what I was going to say. No. There is a kind of right. The majority has on its side a broad, general right. But when we get down to specific truths and specific rights, then the minority is to be listened to and believed. I have spent my life studying preventive medicine and dealing in community health problems. And I tell you that the water here at the resort is teeming with disease. But you don't want to believe me.
Talk about that.
Yeah, lay off that. But that is the subject. That is the subject I'm an expert in. And you won't listen to me.
Why should we?
I'm talking money.
Look, won't you admit that there are some men in their own fields who have climbed far, far above the rest of us? They are fighting for truths newly born. They are right, and we, the majority, are wrong. Let's not shout them down and throw bricks at them just because they deny what we believe. Let's seek them out and listen to them. There are men who have discovered new truths about money, our minds, our emotions, food, the elements, the cooperation, language. Those men could lead us down new streets, out of our mental, physical, and spiritual slums.
In other words, what you're advocating is a revolution.
Yes. Yes, of course I am. A revolution against the lie that the majority is always right. What sort of truth does the majority now hold? A truth that the fighters at the outposts held in the days of our grandfathers. The fighters at the outposts now no longer approve them. Truths don't last forever. No community can live a healthy, vigorous, human, and humane life if it is nourished only on dried-up truths, on lies.
Instead of standing up there using vague generalities, tell us what these dried-up truths are.
You should know, Mr. Hofstad. Most of the tired truths that have become lies are in your paper, The People's Messenger. When problems are far away and can't affect you, your heart bleeds for humanity.
Hofstad bleeding for humanity.
But when the problems are close up in your own town, that's something else again.
Prove it, Dr. Stockman.
You didn't want to hurt your paper circulation or scare your advertisers. It was just in private you like to brag to me about your social conscience.
That's a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. He has no social conscience.
The People's Messenger preaches broad-mindedness and morality, but deals in their opposites. It makes headlines out of rumors. And if a rumor is false, it prints a retraction on page 5. But the truth can never catch up to a lie. The paper condemns a horrible crime, but delights in it with detailed pictures and columns of copy. It points out the ignorance, poverty, and ugly conditions of life in some far-off place, but ignores them here in this town.
Mr. Chairman, I move that you direct the Speaker to sit down.
Hey, second that. No, let him speak.
Street corners! I'll get it published somewhere. I'll spread it all over the country.
It almost seems as if Dr. Stockman's intentions are to ruin this town, exterminate it.
Yes, my hometown means so much to me that I'd rather exterminate it than see it flourish on a lie.
Exterminate! This is really serious.
He's a public enemy. All he knows is hate. He's a public enemy. You'll end up by infecting the whole country. Better to cut out the infection now, the festering sore. Exterminate the people.
You're talking like an out-and-out. Go here.
Enemy of the people.
We've heard enough.
There, Doctor. There is the voice of the people.
Yes.
He's the enemy of the people.
He hates the people.
And his country.
Enemy of the people. Please, order. I have something to say. Order, quiet. Please. Both as a citizen and as an individual, I'm profoundly shocked by what I've just had to listen to. And in the light of recent world events...
You've heard the truth from me, Larson.
That's what you think. I have my own views. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm obliged to subscribe to the opinion I've just heard from the audience, my fellow citizens. And I propose that we put on record our opinion. I will entertain a resolution from the floor.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Resolved. This meeting is of the opinion that Dr. Thomas Stockman, medical officer of the resort, is an enemy of the people.
I second that.
I call this meeting. You can't...
We cannot hear you now, Doctor. You're out of order. A formal vote is about to be taken. Now, a show of hands, please. All those against the resolution, those against... 1, 2, 3, 4. Is your hand up or down? Down. 4, 5, 6, 7.
I thank the few of you who...
Now, all those in favor of the resolution, raise your hand. Carried by an overwhelming majority. This meeting of citizens declares Dr. Thomas Stockman to be an enemy of the people. Meeting is adjourned.
Wait! You hear more from this enemy of the people before he leaves you behind him. I'm not so forgiving as you might think. You won't find me saying, I forgive you, for you know not what you do.
That is a blasphemous comparison, Dr. Stockman.
He's threatening us now, is he?
Let's turn him out of town.
Around the house. Oh, dear. Thomas. Oh, dear, what can we do? They've followed you home.
Don't worry, Catherine. They won't do any more than break the windows.
Oh.
These stones...
look!
Another one. And that stone, too. Where did it go to? Here it is.
Thomas, get away from the window.
I'll keep these stones. Leaf and Morton will look at them every day, and when they grow up, they'll inherit them as mementos of this.
Oh, Thomas, your pants are ripped.
I did that getting away from those people.
Best pants you've got. Oh.
I'll have to remember in the future when I go out to fight for freedom and truth, never to wear my best pants.
Oh, Thomas.
It's all right. That's probably the last one.
Hello?
Oh, good morning. Is this Dr. Thomas Stockman?
Good morning, yes.
This is Mr. Hedberg, your landlord.
Oh, hello. What can
I thought I'd better phone you and explain. You see, I am in a dependent position. I don't like to do this, but, well, I hope you'll understand, Doctor.
Understand what?
I'm sending you notice to vacate.
Your what?
I'm forced to ask you to leave your, my house. It's nothing to do with me. It's nothing personal, Doctor. I want you to understand, public opinion compels me to...
Yes.
I don't dare offend certain influential people in the party I belong to.
No, of course, Mr. Hedberg. I see. Thank you for calling.
Well, Doctor...
Goodbye. Landlord, we'll be getting a notice in tomorrow's mail, Catherine, to move out of here.
Move out?
Not wasting any time getting things organized against the enemy of the people.
Oh, now that's ridiculous. Who thought up that name? You've never been that. You can't be, Thomas.
Oh, don't be too sure, Catherine. To be called an ugly name, enemy of the... Sticking here in the pit of my stomach, eating away and nothing I...
Thomas, dear, you were a bit reckless.
No, most of the things I said I believe. They're true. Maybe I did get carried away at the last. But I get so mad at the people. I expect so much of them, and I'm always disappointed. I shocked them, didn't I? Maybe that's not bad to jar them a bit so they won't be so sure of everything. If someone can get them to doubt and wonder and try to find out, then maybe we'll be able to stumble through. I keep hoping.
Out in the garden?
Wally, what are you doing home from school so early? In the middle of the...
Father, I've lost my position as a teacher. I've been dismissed.
They're taking this out on you two.
Mrs. Busk was given the unpleasant job. And I know it hurt her to have to tell me, but she didn't dare keep me on. She said her own job was at stake. So my holidays this year start very early.
She didn't dare either. That's lovely.
Suddenly, very suddenly, they decide I've been corrupting the youth of our town. Some of the things I've said in class. Well, that was the reason given.
They were right. Most of the stuff they tell you to teach in school corrupts the students.
Isn't it wonderful, Dad? We're both a couple of rebels. I like it.
Yes, but that's enough, Polly. Let's not pretend it isn't serious. You better go inside and tell your mother the news. But don't let her know you're enjoying it. I wish I were, but I'm aware of all that's behind it. My dear brother, I've been expecting this call all day.
Oh, you have?
Come in.
Thomas,
Well, out with it, Peter. You look as though you're the one who's been badly treated.
This document from the Board of HR...
my dismissal.
Yes, dating from today. We're sorry to have to do it, Thomas, but because of public opinion, we don't dare...
Don't dare. That again.
You might as well know the whole situation, Thomas. From now on, don't expect any private medical practice in this town either.
And who do you think you are to... Why do you say that?
The Taxpayers Association is circulating a petition asking people to pledge not to employ you because of the way you insulted the town.
Public-minded Larson's little group.
Thomas, it might be advisable for you to leave the place for a little while.
Yes, that would be convenient, wouldn't it?
Yes. Then, when you've had 6 months to think things over, maybe you could persuade yourself to write a few words of apology, admitting your error.
And I might be reappointed to my old position.
It's not impossible.
But, tell me, what about public opinion?
Oh, public opinion is easy to mold. But we'll need an admission from you that you made a mistake.
Oh, so that's it. Same old pattern. No, I won't do it. I'll never do it. You have nothing but contempt for the people, have you, Peter? They're nothing to you. Public opinion is easy to mold. Still, you mouth a lot of phrases about how right and independent the people are. And they eat it up. You're respected and trusted. And voted for. Peter Stockman, the people's choice. But the party's choice first. Your party's a fine sausage machine. It mashes up all sorts of heads together into the same mincemeat. Fatheads and blockheads all in one mash. And they all have the same opinion. And isn't that convenient? One of their unanimous opinions is that they think for themselves.
I suppose you think Hofstede's party would give the individual the freedom to...
No, not Hofstede's. No,
well, at least you've got that much sense in you. Now, Thomas, if you only had sense enough to sign a retraction, a man with a family has no right to act like this.
No right? There's only one thing a free man has no right to do. No right to foul himself with filth. No right to do anything that'll justify his spitting in his own face.
Then go ahead and spit. You and your righteousness. I know about your cheap, slippery dealings with Morton Callum, your father-in-law. You, an idealist.
And I... What do you mean?
You know what I mean. If you don't, you ought to.
Thomas! Hey, Thomas! What's your hurry?
Oh, Mr. Callum, I was just on my way over to your place.
I yelled at you half a dozen times.
Yes, lucky I ran into you. Look here, my brother Peter's just been talking
Peter?
to me.
I didn't think he would. Not after that meeting last
Now,
night.
he accused you and me of some slippery dealings. Have you any idea what he's trying to...
Slippery dealings? Nothing. It's just a straight matter of business.
What's a straight matter of business?
Oh, let Peter talk. He's just whining because we're smarter than he is, eh, Thomas? Here, look. Look what I've got here. Just on my way over to the bank. Put them in my safe deposit box.
Oh, but these are stock certificates of the Health Resort Corporation.
Yes, they weren't hard to get today. And keep, Thomas.
You've been buying them?
As many shares as I could pay for.
But, Mr. Callum, you know the state of affairs
Look,
of the...
Thomas, now, if you behave reasonably, you can soon put the resort back on its feet again. I've invested most of my savings in these shares. Stock your Catherine, Polly, and the boys will get when I pass on.
Oh, no, you shouldn't.
Meanwhile, I can net a nice profit on them if you just...
If I what?
If you just say that on further investigation you find there's no pollution from my tannery.
But there is.
You can say that there isn't. Now, look, Thomas, your family will need the money from these shares. You'll probably never make much.
Not at the rate I'm going.
Well, then, if you still insist that my tannery is poisoning the resort, it'll be exactly the same as tearing the flesh of your own wife and children.
Why couldn't you have consulted me before you went and bought those shares? They're just trash.
Trash? Yes. If you stick to your mad idea, these shares won't be worth much.
Why have you put me in such a position? You know I'm very concerned about my family's welfare. They've gone without so much for so long.
Well, it's up to you whether these shares become worthless. Now, just a word from you, Thomas.
So that's what you are. My father-in-law, too, deals only in money.
Come. I know you're upset, so I won't demand an answer this minute, but I must know, one way or the other, what you intend to do by 2 o'clock this afternoon.
2 o'clock this afternoon?
Yes. If it's no, well, I'll have to work out some way of unloading, and your family won't get a cent from me.
Thank you.
The newspaper owner to see you. Says it's important. Shall I tell him to go along to your study or...
Thomas. After what's happened, you actually dare to come into my home?
Well, I've got something important. I can understand you're put out with me, Thomas, for my attitude at the meeting.
Pretty contemptible.
What else could I do?
You didn't dare do anything else.
Why didn't you give me a hint ahead of time?
Hint of what?
What was behind it all?
Will you please leave us, Polly?
Of course, Dad.
Now, what are you driving at?
Oh, you know.
I don't know.
Thomas, don't you think it would have been smarter to get somebody else besides your father-in-law go around buying up shares of Health Resort Enterprises? Someone who wouldn't have been linked with you, and you shouldn't have come out personally and attacked the resort. Could have been done anonymously just as effectively. I know about these things. You should have consulted me first, Thomas.
Is it possible?
You've got to be more...
What do you want?
I'm willing to put my paper, the People's Messenger, at your disposal.
What about public opinion? Aren't you afraid of the storm that'll break over our heads?
Oh, we'll ride it out. But you'll have to be ready to change your tack soon as your mudslinging's done its work.
And my father-in-law and I have got hold of all the shares for next to nothing.
Your reason for wanting to get control of the resort is mainly scientific, I'm sure.
Oh, of course. And we'll tinker with the drainage pipes a little and dig up a bit of the shore, and it won't cost the town a nickel. But then, that'll be all right, eh?
Sure, with the People's Messenger behind you.
But, Halstead, I should apologize for asking such a question, but what do you get out of this?
Well, to be honest with you, Thomas, I'd prefer to help you without getting anything out of it. But the People's Messenger's in a rather shaky financial state, not going very well, you see, and I'd hate to see it fold up now when there's so much work to be done here in a political way.
Naturally. That'd be an awful blow for such a friend of the people as you. But I am an enemy of the people. Remember that? Now get out. Go on, get out before I strangle you.
Wait, now, Stockman!
I am an enemy of the people! I am an enemy of the people.
Dad, what's wrong?
Oh, it's nothing.
Thomas, what was all that shouting about?
I'll tell you later. I've got to make a phone call first, right away.
Thomas, the two boys have come home from school, too. They were fighting with the other kids. Yeah, but the other kids started it.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Callum?
Yes, Thomas.
It's 2:00. My answer. No. No, no! What was that about the boys?
Hello. Here they come. That was a strange conversation with Father.
What are Leaf and Morton doing out of school at this hour? Don't tell me they're not...
Daddy, we have to stay home for a couple of days.
Yeah,
we got in a fight.
Good. Well, that wipes the slate clean. The whole family's kicked out.
Oh, I guess the only thing we can do is move to another town.
No, I'll be hanged if we're going away. This is where the fight's going to be, and this is where we're going to come out on top. We'll get another roof over our heads somewhere in this town, and then I'll go to work.
But you haven't got your health resort appointment anymore. And if they won't let you carry on private practice...
I've got the poor people to fall back on, haven't I? Those that don't pay anything. After all, they need me most. And I'll preach to them in and out of season.
Oh, now, Thomas, you know how far you get with your preaching. The last few days...
Now, Catherine, don't be silly. Am I going to be run out by stupid public opinion? No, thank you. I'll stay.
What are we going to do for money?
I don't know, and I don't care. We'll have bills instead. I want to drum into the heads of these people that the majority is an enemy of freedom, that party politics strangle every young and vigorous truth, that considerations of expediency turn morality and justice upside down, and that it'll all end in chaos or tyranny. Oh, I know I'll be vindicated on the issue of the contaminated water when an epidemic breaks out. I'll be needed then. But will they get the significance? Will they see the larger pattern? Hey, Morton, what's that?
Morton, have you got a black eye?
Oh, no, that's just dirt.
That's not dirt.
Well, sure it is, Mom.
So you two kids got kicked out of school, eh?
Just a couple of days, Dad.
No. You're never going to set foot in that school again?
No more school? We can play all the time?
Tom,
I'll educate them myself. You won't learn a blessed thing.
Oh, boy.
I'll make progressive and high-minded men out of you. You can help me, Polly.
Not afraid I might corrupt them.
But 2 young children aren't enough for a school. We'll get a dozen more. Kids who hang around the streets. Kids that our solid citizens ignore, unless they steal something. I'm going to experiment here. Might come across some exceptional heads.
What are we going to do when we all become progressive and high-minded men?
Drive the wolves out of the country.
If they don't drive you out, Morton.
Drive me out? Now, Catherine, when I'm the strongest man in the town, I'll go further than that. I'm the strongest man in the whole world.
Gee, are you, Daddy? Are you stronger than...
Shh. You mustn't tell anyone just yet. This is a secret. But I've made a great discovery.
Oh, no, Thomas, not another one.
Yes, come in close. This is it. The strongest man in the world is the man who stands most alone.
The Columbia Broadcasting System has brought you Studio One, a new series of hour-length versions for listening of celebrated stories, novels, and plays. Tonight from Studio One, you have heard Fletcher Markle's production of An Enemy of the People by Henrik Ibsen. The adaptation was prepared by Len Peterson and the original music composed and conducted by Alexander Semler.
Now, for your interest, may a producer now introduce the principals of the cast. Featured tonight is Dr. Thomas Stockman.
Mavor Moore.
As Peter, his brother.
Paul McGrath.
As Mrs. Stockman.
Hester Sundergaard.
As Hofstad, the newspaper editor.
Frank Behrens.
And as Lawson.
Ian McAllister.
Next Tuesday night from Studio One at CBS, baseball and summertime and romance, and a young man called Alibi Ike. That's his name according to Ring Lardner, who wrote a wonderful story about him, but actually his name is Legion. Until next week then, and Ring Lardner's Alibi Ike, this is Fletcher Markle with a good night and thank you from all of us in Studio One.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The National Broadcasting Company presents Lives of Great Men, a new series on great leaders in human progress, presented by Dr. Edward Howard Griggs, distinguished lecturer, critic, and author of The New Humanism and many other books. In his talks, Dr. Griggs is building a story of civilization based on outstanding characters through the ages, and how each one influences his own and future times. This evening, Dr. Griggs will discuss Ibsen, psychologist and critic of modern society. We present Edward Howard Griggs.
My friends, Ibsen is the giant of modern drama, the greatest dramatic genius since Shakespeare. The surprising fact is that his criticism of society applies more pungently to our America than to the Scandinavian world for which he was writing. If we consider his originality and depth of thought, his development of a new form of dramatic art, and his profound influence on contemporaries and followers, he is the outstanding figure in world literature since Goethe. Such a master transcends our classifications. We think of him as a great realist, holding the mirror up faithfully to life. With that, he is also idealist, a dreamer of dreams, with a symbolism as far-reaching as Maeterlinck's own. At times, he seems to us a cynical Mephistopheles, coldly using the anatomist's knife on the evils of society. At other times, he is a flaming Jeremiah, arraigning the world. We miss in him the geniality that marked Shakespeare and Goethe. He is an ice Jotun of the Northland, but ever ready to flame into the Loki of destructive fire. Born in 1828, the same year with Tolstoy, Ibsen was of Danish, German, and Scotch ancestry. His boyhood was somber, for the affluent father lost all his property except one poor farm when Ibsen was a lad of 8. There were years of sordid poverty, and then at 15, Ibsen was sent down to Grimstad, a small town on the southeast coast of Norway, to clerk in a drug shop. For 6 years, he did distasteful work by day and ate his heart out in brooding loneliness at night. The Revolution of 1848 caught his imagination, and with a partly finished play, Catiline, in his pocket, he removed to Norway's capital, Christiania. He starved on hack work for a time, until the attention of Ole Bull, the Norwegian violinist, was drawn to him. Through Ole Bull's influence, Ibsen was appointed director of the newly established National Theater at Bergen. The salary was small, and he had to do everything: arrange stage, scenery, costumes, coach the actors, direct the play, occasionally write it. At 29, he married, happily, and was transferred to the somewhat larger theater at Christiania. Here he had 6 more years of doing everything concerning the staging of the plays. Probably no other dramatist, not excepting Shakespeare, ever had such drastic training in stagecraft, which, on the basis of his dramatic gift, made him the master he became. The plays he wrote during this period dealt chiefly with Norway's heroic past. He was given a small sum to go north and collect Norwegian folklore, material used later in Peer Gynt, and at 35 was granted a small poet's pension from the crown. The following year, he left Norway at the crisis of the war between Denmark and Prussia with other German states over Schleswig-Holstein. Ibsen regarded that war as an international crime perpetrated by Germany and wrote a stirring lyric, A Brother in Need, urging Norway to rise and help. The government responded, but would act only with France and England, who refrained from action then, as recently they have again, under still more flagrant circumstances. In disgust, Ibsen sailed over the seas to Italy. There, under the sunny skies, with the wealth of classic association to stimulate his imagination, he produced the long dramatic poem Brand, a scathing arraignment of his countrymen for their timid vices and virtues, but with a profound philosophy running through it. It teaches that life is worth not what you are, but that to which you dedicate yourself. Gradually the higher truth emerges, that love must guide will to deal wisely with human beings, imperfect as all are. Having freed himself from this mood, he turned to Norwegian folklore, and at 39 produced the unique Peer Gynt, supreme example of Ibsen the poet, creating beauty and significance for the imagination. Like Brand, it contains deep philosophy of life. Peer, believing he was realizing himself by gratifying every whim, fulfilled only the troll maxim, to thyself be enough. Solveig is the one who goes straight through, becoming the woman God meant her to be, while the true Peer Gynt existed only in her transfiguring love. The Italian War drove Ibsen to Germany, his home for much of the next 20 years. He was still poor and struggling in spite of the success of his long poems, but refused offers of translation work to dedicate himself to his art. Meantime, he was reacting on blatant superficial democracy, seeing the true revolution in the spirit of man. At 41, he published The League of Youth, satirizing the local situation in Norwegian politics and breaking for a time with Bjørnson. The result was a fury of attack, the papers containing it reaching Ibsen at Port Said, where he was guest of the Khedive at the opening of the Suez Canal. He answered with a bitterly satiric poem. Later, for the Millinery Festival, he sent home a poem which best of all shows his fighting heroism in proclaiming advanced and unpopular convictions. Let me quote it. My countrymen who filled for me deep bowls of wholesome bitter medicine, such as gave the poet on the margin of his grave fresh force to fight where broken twilight rolls, my countrymen who sped me o'er the wave, an exile with my griefs for pilgrim souls, my fears for burdens, doubts for staff to roam. From the wide world I send you greeting home. I send you thanks for gifts that help and harden, thanks for each hour of purifying pain. Each plant that springs in my poetic garden is rooted where your harshness poured its rain. Each shoot in it, which blooms and burgeons forth, it owes to that gray weather from the north. The sun relaxes, but the fog secures. My country, thanks. My life's best gifts were yours. After several years of intense labor, Ibsen finished at 45 his longest work, Emperor and Galilean, which did not prove, as he hoped, to be his masterpiece. The canvas was too broad, and the theme did not give scope for his philosophy. Returning to Italy, he produced at 51 A Doll's House, the first play in which he completely found himself, and initiating the great series of dramas by which he is now known internationally. It is significant of his long and slow development that the series came so late. While a most effective stage play, A Doll's House proved to be an important social document, greatly accelerating the movement for emancipating women. It was a theme of discussion at every tea party and café clutch throughout Europe. The result was to make Ibsen wonder if he might have a function as teacher. He had not thought of himself in that capacity. In an early letter to the King of Norway, he had said, "My aim is to make my people think great thoughts." With a new idea, he produced Ghosts, carrying out the study of heredity begun in A Doll's House. The response was a storm of attack, due to his having arraigned social as well as biological ghosts. He was as much surprised as he had been by the contrasting reception of A Doll's House. He did not wait the usual 2 years before replying. His regular habit in the great series was to spend a year thinking out his characters from birth to the end of their lives, and then use the second year to write the brief chapter given in his play. This time he came back at his critics in a year with An Enemy of the People. While a good stage play, it is less carefully finished than the others in the series and is rather a social satire containing the most drastic indictment of democracy that has been made since Plato. Through Dr. Stockmann, he argued that the rule of the majority must mean the rule of the many fools over the few wise, and that the new and therefore most important truths will always be in possession of a small minority on the advancing margin of life. Ibsen never saw the answer to his indictment, which we can see, and so reached the nadir of pessimism in The Wild Duck, produced at 56. It portrays the meddling reformer going about presenting the claim of the ideal and succeeding only in disrupting the adjustments poor broken-winged humans have made of their lives. He had been away from Norway for 20 years, with only a brief visit home. At 57, he returned for a longer visit. The long struggle with poverty was over. He had been a careful saver and shrewd investor, and was now affluent and famous. He spent the summer at Molde on the coast, brooding over the sea. The situation in Norway deeply distressed him because of the bitter passions aroused by the 10 years' fight, finally completely successful, for a constitutional democracy. In a speech to working men, he said nobility of character must be introduced by women and labor, for it is character alone that makes us free. He returned to Munich and produced Rosmersholm. While inspired by Norway's political situation, it became a story of human beings and human fates. It is the supreme example of the retrospective drama, beginning just before the tragic crisis, then withdrawing veil after veil from the past causing it. This was Ibsen's characteristic method in the late group of plays. The summer at Molde and another at the north end of Jutland had reawakened Ibsen's love and longing for the sea. In that mood, he wrote The Lady from the Sea, the one play in which he dreams life out to serene and happy conclusion, giving his philosophy of marriage as the voluntary acceptance of mutual responsibility by two intelligent persons on a plane of moral equality. Next came the remorseless Hede Gabler, depicting, as he said, human beings, human emotions, and human destinies upon a groundwork of certain of the social conditions and principles of the present day. The crown of Ibsen's stage dramas in technical execution, it is pure psychology of character with no political or other extraneous element. At 63, Ibsen went home to Norway for the remainder of his life. The Master Builder, produced soon after, is his personal dream, inspired by a moving brief chapter of his own experience, which shocked him into wondering if he had climbed as high as he had built. Radical in thought, he had been singularly conservative in life, and must have asked, had he an absorbed portrayal of life, forfeited life? Now settled in Christiania, renowned and prosperous, he continued to brood over life, creating men and women in its tangled skein. The poignant little Eyolf is a culmination of symbolism. All the characters, except the lovely and by the critics misunderstood Rita, being symbols. John Gabriel Borkman followed, portraying a financial schemer, but centering on the heart of Ibsen's philosophy that the unpardonable sin is the sin against love. This receives clearest expression in Ibsen's last play, which he called his epilogue, When We Dead Awaken. What an epilogue it is, to what a life. It shows that if art, instead of being made a way of life, is substituted for life, when we dead awaken, we discover that we have never lived, and the art turns to dust and ashes in the artist's hand. While he was working on this play, Ibsen's 70th birthday had been celebrated with many honors. The excitement brought a slight stroke, but he rallied to complete When We Dead Awaken. A severe stroke followed. He lingered through 6 years with periods of partial darkness, tenderly cared for by his devoted wife, and died at 78. Life is not as remorseless as Ibsen. He takes one tendency of character and carries it to extreme conclusion, where in life there are compensating adjustments and a power of recovery he did not recognize. In the complex world of men and women, good and evil, light and shadow, laughter and tears are mingled together in the stream of life. It was not for Ibsen to show this, but what a master he was, with profound psychology and deep grip on life, creator of men and especially of women. Agnes, Solveig, Nora, Elida, Hilda, Rita, Irene, do they not live? the coming of those immortals to whom we turn for solace of spirit. Great, grim Jotun of the Northland, born into the fever-stricken modern world, yearning for the companionship of the ice peaks, but doomed to the solitude of the cities, Ibsen, with all his pessimism, is wholly constructive in philosophy. He teaches that self-realization is neither in indulgence nor in renunciation, but in heroic action, accepting all the bonds of the spirit, that life to be worthwhile must be based on truth, lived in freedom, and crowned by love.
Ibsen, psychologist and critic of modern society, has been the subject of another program in the series titled Lives of Great Men, presented by Dr. Edward Howard Griggs, distinguished lecturer, critic, and author.
This afternoon, the Blue Network presents another performance in its Great Plays series for 1942, The Pillars of Society, a comedy by Henrik Ibsen. Our commentator on today's great play and on each play of the series is Barrett H. Clark, the executive director of the Dramatists' Play Service. He will tell you something of the background of The Pillars of Society and its author, Mr. Clark.
In listening to the dramatic masterpieces of the world, it is always well to take them at their face value, provided they stimulate our emotions and by their truth and power move us deeply. We should ask little else. Most of the plays of the Norwegian poet-playwright Henrik Ibsen do so stimulate and move us, or they would not have survived on the stages of every civilized country in the world. It is, however, of interest to learn how these plays came into being and to what extent they reflect the character of the man who wrote them. Ibsen was born in a small town on the west coast of Norway in 1828. His youth was spent in poverty. Though he began writing verse at the age of 19, it was years before he was able to enjoy some degree of material comfort. He spent an uneventful and unhappy youth as apprentice to a druggist, and was known at the time as an uncommunicative and dour fellow. There can be no doubt that what he observed and lived through as a young man in a small provincial town colored all of his later work. Though we know that he was connected with a local theatrical company and even managed a theater, the wonder is that he was able to learn so thoroughly his business as a playwright and ultimately to become the recognized master of his craft. Receiving a small government grant, he was enabled to leave his native country in the middle 60s and live abroad, where he wrote most of his later works. It was in 1877 that The Pillars of Society made its appearance. It is the first of his long series of modern prose plays, of which A Doll's House, Ghosts, and Hedda Gabler have remained the best known and oftenest acted. Ibsen was a slow and painstaking writer, and the background of The Pillars of Society, observed and absorbed by the young apprentice many years before, stands out clean-cut in all its details. And here we have a striking instance of the dramatist's theatric skill. He is able to create for us not alone a mere background for the development of his theme, but an intrinsically dramatic setting for an exciting story. You can't say much about Ibsen without referring to his moralistic tendencies. And in The Pillars, his desire to say something bitter and true about small-town hypocrisy is self-evident. But it stands to reason that this grim comedy would have been forgotten long ago if it had been no more than a sermon. Ibsen occasionally showed his annoyance when some critic took him to task for exposing a social evil without suggesting a remedy for it. Once he barked back to an insistent interviewer that it was his business to ask questions, not to answer them. The genius of Ibsen is best seen in his ability to seize the particular, the local, the seemingly accidental, and carry it into the realm of the universal. So it is with The Pillars of Society. The small Scandinavian town in which the action passes becomes, in his hands, all towns, and the characters, in spite of their idiosyncrasies, all mankind. I can't tell you how he did it, except that he was that kind of artist, and if I could, it wouldn't make much difference. Fortunately, we have the play, and it speaks to us of today as clearly and excitingly as it did to those who first saw it 75 years ago.
The time is one summer during the latter half of the 19th century. The scene, an ornate mid-Victorian living room in the house of Karsten Bernick, wealthy businessman and shipyard owner of a small Norwegian coastal town. At the room's left, a door, now closed, leads to Bernick's adjoining office. To the right, a second door, the house's main entrance, gives access to the busy, sunlit town square and to the waterfront. In the middle of the wall directly opposite us, some curtained French doors open out onto a broad veranda beyond which we can see the hedges and flowers of a formal garden. As the play opens, we find this living room now occupied by Mr. Berwick's wife, Betty, and her friends of the community sewing circle. They have been listening attentively to a story read to them by Mr. Rorland, the local schoolmaster.
There, my dear ladies, that's the end of it.
Such an instructive tale.
Such a good moral. A book like that really gives one something to think about.
Quite so, Mrs. Bernick. And it presents a salutary contrast to the emptiness and rottenness of large communities nowadays.
How true, Mr. Rowland.
Especially those in America, Mrs. Holt. Even in higher circles there, what's the case? A spirit of doubt and unrest on all sides. Look at their shameless love of casting doubt on even the most serious truths.
Oh, but are there not many big things, too, done in America?
Big things? I don't understand.
Good gracious, Dina.
I think it would be scarcely a good thing for us if such big things became the rule here. The important thing is to keep society pure, ladies.
Yes.
To ward off all the hazardous experiments that a restless age seeks to force upon us.
Yes, you know, last year we only by a hair's breadth escaped the project of having a railway here.
Oh, my husband prevented that. Yes? Come in.
Excuse me.
Oh, no, Hilma. Come along in. Do you want something?
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. Good morning.
Well, Mrs. Bernick, my dear sister, what is the result?
Of what?
Your husband has summoned a meeting, you know.
Yes, he and 2 other men are in the office there. What's it all about?
Oh, it's this railway nonsense over again.
Oh, poor Carsten. Is he to have more annoyance over that?
But how do you explain that, Mr. Tonneson? You know that last year Mr. Bernick made it perfectly clear that he would not have a railway here.
Yes, that is what I thought, too. But I met Kropp, his confidential clerk, and he told me that the railway project had been taken up again, and that Mr. Bernick was in consultation with 3 of our local businessmen.
I was right in thinking I heard my husband's voice from the office there.
Of course, Mrs. Rummel. Your husband is in it, and so is Michael Vigeland.
Hello, Uncle Hilmar. Hello.
Hello, Olaf, you young duffer.
Olaf.
Betty Bernick, do you mean to say your son is still playing about with that ridiculous bow and arrow? Why don't you get him a real gun? He's old enough.
You really mustn't put such ideas into his head, Hilma.
It's a nice breed we're educating up nowadays, isn't it? We talk a great deal about manly sports, goodness knows, but we only play with the question all the same. Olaf, why on earth have you never gone over to America in one of your father's ships? You might have seen a buffalo hunt then, or a fight with red Indians.
Oh, Hilma.
I should like that awfully, Uncle. And then perhaps I might meet Uncle Johann and Aunt Lorna.
Rubbish.
You can go down into the garden again now, Olaf.
Yes, Mother. I'll find something to shoot at.
Mr. Tonneson, you oughtn't to put such fancies into the child's head.
No, of course. He's destined to be a miserable stay-at-home like too many others, Mr. Rowland.
Oh, you shouldn't complain so, Hilma. At least things are better here now than they used to be, when everything ended in mere frivolity.
Yes. I've heard that even a touring theatrical company came here once.
Yes, that was the worst thing of the lot.
Dina, dear, will you go and ask Katrina to bring us our coffee?
Yes, Aunt Betty. I'll go.
Ladies, will you excuse me for a few minutes?
Oh, yes, of course.
I'll set a table out on the veranda so we may have our coffee outside.
Oh, that'll be lovely.
Will you help me, Mr. Rowland and Hilma?
With pleasure, Mrs. Bernick. I think it'd be very nice.
My goodness, Mrs. Linger, how you frightened me.
I? What do you mean?
Whatever made you begin to talk about... But didn't you see that Dina was in the room?
Dina? Well, good gracious, is there anything wrong?
And in this house, too. Did you not know it was Mrs. Bernick's brother?
Well, what about him? I know nothing about it at all. I'm quite new to the place, you know. What about Mrs. Bernick's brother?
His name is Johann. He ran away to America.
had to run away, you must understand.
Oh, then it's he the scandal is about.
Yes, there was something, well, how should I put it? There was something of some kind between him and Dina's mother. I remember it all as if it were yesterday.
Well, what was the scandal?
Well, you must know that Muller's Theatrical Company were acting in the town that winter.
And Dorf, the actor, and his wife were in it. They had their little daughter, Dina, with them, and, well, all the young men in town were infatuated with Dina's mother.
Yes, goodness knows how they could think her pretty. Well, Dorf came home late one evening.
Quite unexpectedly.
And found his... Well, no, really, it isn't a thing one can talk about.
And after all, Mrs. Rummel, he didn't find anything because the door was locked on the inside.
Yes, and just think of it. The man who was in the house had to jump out the window.
And that was Mrs. Bernick's brother?
It was.
And that was why he ran away to America?
Yes, he had to. You may be sure.
And something discovered afterwards was nearly as bad. Just think. He had been making free with the Bernick Company's cash box.
But you know, Mrs. Rummel, no one was certain of that. Perhaps there was no truth in the rumor.
Why, wasn't it known all over the town? Didn't old Mrs. Bernick nearly go bankrupt as the result of it?
Well, what happened to Dina's parents?
Dorf deserted them, and then his wife got something wrong with her lungs and died.
Oh, what a horrible scandal.
Yes, you can imagine how hard it was upon the Bernicks.
Oh, yes.
Mrs. Bernick's own brother. So never speak of it in this house, Mrs. Linger.
And for heaven's sakes, never mention the stepsister either.
Oh, so Mrs. Bernick has a stepsister, too.
Had, luckily, for the relationship between them is all over now. Lona, her name was. An extraordinary person. Would you believe it? She cut her hair short and used to go about in men's boots in bad weather.
Really?
And when her stepbrother Johann had gone away and the whole town naturally was talking about him, she actually went to America to join him.
And remember the scandal she caused before she went, Mrs. Holt.
My goodness, did she create a scandal, too?
Mr. Bernick had just got engaged to our dear friend Betty, and the two of them went arm in arm into her aunt's room to tell her the news. When suddenly up got Lona from her chair and gave our refined and well-bred Carsten Bernick such a box on the ear that his head swam. Then she packed her box and went to America.
I suppose this Lona person had her eye on Mr. Bernick for herself.
Of course. Well, now you know the whole story, Mrs. Linger.
Yes. Oh, you may be sure I shall be most careful. Oh, but that poor child, Dina Dorf. I'm truly sorry for her.
Well, really, it was a stroke of good luck for her, because after she became an orphan, the Bernicks took her into their own house here. Here she comes. Yes, Dina is really a clever girl.
Yes.
What is that you, Dina? Oh, delicious your coffee smells, my dear Dina.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Holt.
Ladies, will you come out here on the veranda now?
Oh, yes, of course.
Dina, won't you come too?
No, thank you, Aunt Betty.
Dina,
Yes, Mr. Royland?
why don't you want to sit with us on the veranda?
When I came in here with the coffee, I could see that they had been talking about me.
But didn't you see, too, how agreeable they were to you?
Oh, that's just what I will not stand.
You're very self-willed, Dina.
Yes.
But why?
Oh, because it's my nature. Because I am one of the poor fallen creatures, you know.
For shame, Dina.
So was my mother.
Who has spoken to you about such things?
Oh, no one. They never do. Why don't they, Mr. Royland? How I hate all this kind-heartedness.
My dear Dina, I can quite understand that you feel repressed here, but...
Oh, if only I could get away. I could make my own way quite well if I didn't live amongst people who are so...
So what?
So proper and so moral.
Dina!
You know quite well what I mean. Oh, if only I were away from it all, I should grow to be worth something.
Do you mean that going away seriously?
Oh, I wouldn't stay here a day longer if it were not for you.
Tell me, Dina, why is it that you're so fond of being with me?
Because you teach me so much that is beautiful.
Dina, I'm so deeply concerned about you, my dear. You know that you're dearer to me than I can say.
If I were some other girl, you wouldn't be so afraid to let people see it.
Oh, Dina, you can have no idea of the number of things I'm forced to consider. When it's a man's lot to be a moral pillar of the community he lives in, he can never be too careful. If only I could be certain that people would interpret my motives properly. Dina, is it a bargain between us that when I come, when circumstances allow me to come to you and say, here is my hand, that you will take it then and be my wife? Will you promise me that, Dina?
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, Dina, I love you so dearly.
Gentlemen.
Mr. Bernick is coming out of the office. Dina, for my sake, go out and join the others on the veranda.
All right, I'll go.
Hello, Roland. Hello.
How do you do?
And, gentlemen, the matter's settled.
Yes, I hope to goodness it is.
And no one must falter. No one give way, no matter what opposition we meet.
We'll stand or fall together, Bernick. Fall? If I may ask, isn't it the railway scheme that is going to fall?
Oh, no, Roland. On the contrary, it's going to proceed.
Full steam.
Gentlemen, we must get out lists of subscribers, and the sooner the better. Obviously, our names must head the list.
But last year, Mr. Bernick.
Ah, last year, Roland, it was quite another thing. At that time, it was a question of a line along the coast.
Which would have been quite superfluous, Mr. Rowland, because, of course, we have our steamship service.
And thus it would have absolutely ruined certain important interests in the town.
But now, however, an inland line has been resolved upon.
Yes, but surely that will not touch the towns about here.
It'll eventually touch our town, my dear Roland, because we're going to build a branch line here.
A new scheme, then?
And now the decisive moment has come to work for it with all our might. Yes, even if I have to risk all I have for it, I mean to see the matter through.
And we'll back you up, Bernick. You may rely upon that.
Just think what a lever it'll be to raise the status of our whole community. Just think of the immense tracts of forest lands it'll make accessible, the rich deposits of minerals, water power, possibilities for new manufacturing developments.
And you're not afraid that an easier intercourse with the depravity of the outer world?
No. You may make your mind quite easy on that score, Mr. Rowland. Our little hive of industry rests nowadays, God be thanked, on a sound moral basis. We've all of us helped to create that, and we'll continue to preserve it.
The foreign mail, Mr. Bernick, and a telegram from New York.
Oh, yes, Crop. The owners of the Indian girl.
Oh, is the mail in? Then you must excuse me, too.
And me. Good day, Bernick.
Good day, gentlemen. And remember, we have a meeting this afternoon at 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I won't forget.
Of course. Yeah.
Right, so. Right.
This is thoroughly American. Absolutely shocking. Well, look at this letter, Crop. Read it.
Yes, sir. Do the least repairs possible. Send over Indian girl at noon as she is ready to sail. Good time of year. At a pinch, her cargo will keep her afloat. Well, I must say...
You see the state of things in those vaunted great communities.
You're quite right, Roland. Not a moment's consideration for human life when it's a question of making a profit. Crop?
Yes, sir.
Can the Indian girl go to sea in 4 or 5 days?
Yes, if Mr. Vigland will agree to